It all starts at the awakening ceremony. Today's the day when the slackers finally have to get to work. No more living that lazy teenager life. Feng Yang, that smug blonde kid, says everyone's going to awaken those everyday life classes. Seriously, what bunch of losers. Meanwhile, the chubby guy is practically choking on his own words, praising Feng Yang for being amazing because he awakened a combat profession. Just then, someone comes up and bumps into him hard. The suck-up number 2 immediately wants to know who's got the guts not to apologize after bumping into Brother Fang. But the kid just glances back, mutters a quick apology, and keeps walking. Fang stands there smiling, saying of course it had to be that guy. The chubby one wants to know if that arrogant kid just now might be some kind of young master. Fang laughs and asks if he really doesn't know what happened to the Lin family, those fools who were mysteriously wiped out 10 years ago. That kid is the last piece of trash left, named Lin Han. Feng shouts that it's ridiculous that this loser actually came here just to embarrass himself at the awakening. Lin Han, however, just stands there smiling, thinking the weak ones stand on the sidelines laughing, thinking awakening some rare profession makes them special. Let me show them what real talent looks like. When he touches the stone, a Buddha suddenly appears floating in the air, sending wind gusts everywhere. Everyone shields themselves, confused. Feng can't believe it. That kid must have awakened something insane, and now he's about to be humiliated. But a special talent that appears is Beastmaster. The girls start gossiping, saying what a shame it is that it's a waste of talent. Han just stands there while Feng Yang steps up, asking, "So, you think your life just got better? You'd better remember, every beast tamer is trash. That's because beasts need an absurd amount of resources to grow strong, you've got no family backing you up, and you're broke." The protagonist, though, just replies, "Well, look who's standing in front of me. Aren't you the brother of Feng Rom, the guy who's useless except for the fact that he has a profession?" The blonde kid is already about to tell him to shut up and suddenly comes swinging, shouting that he'll kill him right now. But then his sandal smacks down and something beautiful comes flying in with a dropkick. Blood sprays, the kid goes flying. What the hell was that? No surprise though, because look at the size of Bei Bing's thighs. She's more like Bai Big, and she says that a filthy guy like him shouldn't be opening his mouth to insult her student. "Disappear right now or I'll rip the skin off your flesh." Damn, that was fierce. The fool walks off trembling all over. He knows this damn Bai Bing is just a cursed teacher, but her family's powerful, and it's better not to cause trouble. Meanwhile, she's praising our boy. You awaken his secret profession? Teacher, don't say it like that. Don't tease me. But she reminds him that she's made it clear 1,000 times. Outside school, he's supposed to call her big sis, not teacher. He better get used to that. And the kid just took a smack on the cheek, you know? That kind of thing. You can tell it's going to come heavy. Suddenly the roles flip. We've got guys who use money cards to win women over, but here we've got the teacher. What the hell? I've never seen so many perks in one scene. Cards, benefits, everything. She's handing them over because she knows buying beasts is expensive, and our boy, he didn't refuse. He just accepted it. He even says he'll dedicate his whole life to her while she's bashing his head on the floor. Right after that, we jump to the luxurious castle of our protagonist. Or, not really. But he doesn't care about being poor, because now it's time to start flexing with the little system. Then the next chapter shows his background. He's the eldest son of the mighty Lin family. But 3 years ago, when he came home, everything had been destroyed by a wave of monsters. What the hell? The body's original owner died on the spot from despair. The guy just collapsed like a mummy, and that was it. Our boy woke up in that body. And now 3 years later, the little system finally shows up. He knew it. There was no way he crossed into another world without some kind of cheat. How could that even be possible? Name Lin Han. Beast tamer is secret profession. And hey, the stats don't even look that bad. Look at that. 50 agility, 110 spirit. Not too shabby. The system keeps pounding in his head, saying it only showed up now because this was when he awakened his profession. And the first mission is called Miracles to need money and destiny can be bought. He had to spend 100,000 coins to unlock a new system inside the system. The protagonist is already grumbling. That damn thing must have noticed the money I got from the Ice Sister, and now it's trying to rob me. But still, he orders it to proceed with the mission and explain how it's supposed to work. Suddenly, he finds himself on some kind of planet floating in outer space. The system congratulates him for activating a new mode. This was the hall where he could obtain ultra-rare beasts, and by the Pokemon-like silhouettes, you could already tell they were powerful. The system warns him, since he's at the first stage, only one little beast can be released. He knows that every 10 levels unlocks a new stage, meaning he'll need to keep leveling up to gain another powerful one. He's anxious, excited even. This is his cheat. No way the beasts coming from the system will be weak. With no other choice, he decides to spend the money right away and see what comes out. When he clicks on the image of the big one, what appears is like some knockoff Beru from the dark web. Actually, it's not even Beru. It's a micro Beru, a tiny ant crawling on his fingertip. He wonders if he really just wasted 100,000 coins on an ant. But in that instant, the creature forms a contract with him, shifting into its second form. And damn, here comes the giant ant. From this angle, I'd say it's a queen ant. It has to be. And our boy is standing there impressed, saying that at this rate, he's going to be at the top by tomorrow. Then on the day of the test at Shadow Mountain, the copy-paste squad is summoned. Their leader announces that today they'll be taking the test to evaluate the potential of the professions they've awakened. The bearded musclehead is named Kao Chong, and he informs them that Bei Bing had an emergency and won't be there today. Our boy is making a face like he's showing off his celestial queen ant, while Kao Chong explains that the portal will send them to areas appropriate for their current levels. That's when someone suddenly pats Lin on the shoulder and calls his name. It's a guy named Long Chanjiao, a chubby friend of his, who asks if Lin managed to get Beast to form a contract with. And he's kind enough to say that if not, they can go together and he'll help him out. But Feng Yang is right there nearby, saying that anyone who needs help to clear the very first test should just quit right now because it's pathetic. Then he generously offers Lin a chance, saying that if Lin starts barking and begs him, he'll let him join their group to help him. Lin asks if it's a dog group since he has to bark to get in. The guy was laughing until he realized he'd just been roasted. And seriously, this guy, say one thing and he's already ready to swing at you. But the protagonist calmly flares a bit of his aura and grabs his arm and asks if he skipped breakfast today. Feng is stunned. Lin's supposed to be a beast tamer. How could he, a non-fighter, just block Feng's punch? Meanwhile, the instructor is calling out to Lin Han, telling him to stop fooling around and get moving. Long still wants to help, but Lin tells him not to worry, he can handle it on his own. But it seems Feng already spoke with the instructor to make Lin's trial extra difficult, almost guaranteeing he won't come back alive. The instructor even looks at Lin and says a kid like him shouldn't be anywhere near Bei Bing because she's a woman meant for him. That's what happens. When you don't have a woman, life's hard because you don't. When you do have one, life's hard because you do. Pure misery either way. Our protagonist, on the other hand, is stepping into the dungeon, Wolf Habitat, an area recommended for level 11 to 20. Lin finds this strange. Why would they send him somewhere so far above his level? But before he can figure it out, the first creatures appear. He's already surrounded by wolves on all sides, so he gives his queen ant a little pat. All right, big girl, wake up, let's go. She lights up, does exactly as told, and appears. Wide hips, stretching out to the sides, opening her little eyes and immediately telling her master that she's ready. Celestial Queen Ant, level 10 with 800 strength. Holy hell, that's broken, especially considering Lin only had 50. Lin Han can't wait to see what his big girl can do. Plus, thanks to her being summoned at her skill set, he gains a ton of stat bonuses, more than what he normally has. And with that, the beautiful beast goes on the attack, throwing punches and kicks. The camera angle is terrible. Someone needs to teach the artist how to frame this better. Within seconds, all the wolves are down, but now I'm actually feeling a little sad. I've been hyping her up so much, and there she is looking all gloomy. Lin Han praises her, saying that she had enough strength to wipe out all those monsters right after being summoned, and when she grows stronger, she's going to get even more unstoppable. Well, no, more like when she levels up, the poor monsters won't even stand a chance. But Lin decides he has to fight too. After all, with the power he has now with the bonus stats she gave him, he's not much weaker than someone who awakened a combat profession. The little ant is all cute, asking if he's really going to fight, and he replies that yeah, he knows he's much weaker than her, probably 10 times weaker. But he can't just stand around and do nothing. He pats her gently, thinking how hard it is to even associate her with the words celestial ferocious beast. To him, she just looks like an innocent little girl. But she only got about 10 centimeters close to him, and he's already blushing bright red. Yep, now you can tell what kind of protagonist he is. Meanwhile, a few guys off to the side are whispering, wondering if the kid wasn't supposed to be alone. That's what Kao Chong, the instructor, had said. But they're not seeing him alone. They're seeing something with a figure, even a face. Top tier. These bastards aren't even Thai, but suddenly they're all eager to eat insects, huh? Then the shaved head one warns the others to be careful, saying that girl clearly isn't weak. They have to ambush her together when her guard's down and kill the boy first. But when he looks back, the fierce one already has his buddy by the throat, asking if he's trying to hurt her master. The guy realizes instantly that his friend didn't even stand a chance. Right there and then, he panics knowing she's at least level 20. Lin Han is right behind him, shouting not to let the man escape. The guy tries to run out the other side of the dungeon, but ends up getting crushed under a monster's paw. The protagonist quickly tells the ant girl to stay still, while he wonders if this was really supposed to be a level 11 to 20 zone. Why the hell was there a wolf king here at level 22? The fool is squirming under the paw, begging for help, but he's flattened like a pancake. The mission instantly updates. Kill this creature and earn 200 beast points. As good as that sounds, Lin knows it won't be easy. That's why he tells the ant girl it might be best to retreat for now. The problem is she's got a strange grin, and it doesn't look like she plans on backing down. Since that's the case, he orders her to charge. She goes flying at the wolf at full speed. The beast lunges to sink its fangs into her, but she slips to the side, dodging. She's struggling though, sweating. The big wolf smacks her with its snout, launching her into the air. At the same time, it fires off a Dragon Ball combo, teleporting up, striking her before she can even recover, and slamming her back down to the ground. It doesn't stop. It's on her back in an instant, raising paw after paw, pounding her again and again. Damn, the ant girl is taking a brutal beating. Lin Han notices that clearly she can't win like this without some kind of advantage. She's just getting crushed. And to make it worse, a pack of other wolves start sneaking up on him. He dodges the first, grabs a shovel, and swears there's no way he's dying like an idiot here. He uses one wolf's body to smash into another, while his mission updates to kill 9 out of 10. He grabs one by the jaws and rips it clean in half, completing the kill 10 wolves objective. That earns him 100 beast points, and he immediately tells the ant girl to activate frenzy mode. That skill costs 100 points and deals damage equal to 100% of her total strength to a target, with a 5-minute cooldown. In a flash, she shrinks back into her tiny ant form, buzzing around the beast's body. The wolf looks left and right, confused, not understanding what's going on. Then suddenly, boom, it takes a cannon blast straight to the chest. And she did it while still in ant form. She's furious now, screaming like she's lost her mind. And then she copies her master, tearing the beast wide open too. She crawls inside its body as a little ant, grows massive inside, and rips it apart from within. The mission to kill the boss is instantly completed, and he gains another 1500 experience. Lin Han is stunned. A level 22 boss killed like that. That really is a ferocious beast, standing there with that peculiar smile. Clearly, this girl isn't all there in the head. He wonders if the system notified her about what was happening, since her reaction seems so strange. The system tells him to collect the loot dropped from the boss, and at that moment, her frenzy state ends. She beams with joy, hugs him tight, and says she killed the big dog. And just like that, our boy's turning into a Thai drama protagonist, clinging to her and wondering, what the hell is this sweet feeling? But she says she's tired, and he lets her fall asleep. Honestly, it's easier when she's tiny. Just tuck her away like an ant and carry her in your pocket. For now, though, he just strokes her gently, and a little while later, she's curled up on his shoulder. As he glances around, he thinks to himself that this status window really does look exactly like one from a game. Time to check what loot the boss dropped. The first item is a wolf fang sword, which requires level 22 to equip and grants some stat boosts. It also gives a frenzy status effect and a 5% bonus. There's also an ice staff. What are the odds of him gifting that to Big Sis? He's pumped now. All he needs to do is keep hunting, keep leveling up, and sell these items online to keep from starving. But at that moment, he realizes he's jumped straight to level 10 from killing the boss. And now he needs to advance his class, otherwise he'll be stuck at this level. Lin Han's a little confused. He didn't think killing the boss would take him straight to level 10. His plan was to keep hunting and looting for a while, but clearly, that won't work anymore. Before leaving, though, he still has to have a little chat with those two fools lying there on the ground to find out what they were plotting. Hours later, outside the dungeon, a group of medics are standing by the gate. Cao Chong tells them to get ready to treat all the students, thinking to himself that it's a shame, but there are some he simply won't be able to save. Just then, someone calls for Cao Chong, and sure enough, it's the Big herself. Everyone's wondering what she's doing here. She was supposed to be busy. Cao Chong says, "Hello, Professor Bei. We're here to receive the brave students. You really didn't need to come." But she wants to know why Lin's test was set up that way. She demands an explanation. Cao Chong tells her to stop interfering. Even if she's close to Lin Han, he's the instructor, and it's his call to make. In his opinion, all students should be treated equally. And if she really wants to discuss improving the training plan, they could always have a nice little private meeting about it. Holy hell, she instantly pulls out a dagger and presses it against his neck, warning him to cut the jokes and start explaining. Cao Chong starts stammering. "I don't know what you're talking about, Miss Bai." But she snaps back, Lin just awakened as a beast tamer. So why was he sent to a level 20 zone? He can't even defend himself, let alone tame a monster in a place like that. Just because his family's dead, you think you can do this to him? Cao Chong carefully pushes the dagger aside and says she's mistaken. He meant well. Lin is a talented boy who awakened his secret ability. He's sure everything will go fine. He even sent 3 assistants to help him. Big finally lowers the dagger and says fine, but he'd better come back alive because if even a piece of that boy is missing, she'll carve the same piece out of Cao Chong and hand it to Lin personally. He just laughs nervously, saying, all right, while thinking to himself she's acting all tough now. But when she sees Lin's corpse, she'll realize how arrogant she was, and then she won't have any choice left. Wait a second, what kind of logic is that? Is this guy thinking she's going to drag him to bed for a duel if Lin dies? My god, poor guy. Truly the side character with a 4-point IQ. Soon after, it's announced that all the participants have returned from the trial. Look there, the first woman in this story who isn't either a monster girl or a teacher. From class 6, it's Lang Lingshu. Her profession is Magna Tempest, and she's one of the rare few with dual talents. Everyone's saying it's no surprise someone that gifted would be the first to come back. Right then, Feng shows up, saying he expected the school's #1 to finish before him. He walks up, saying that as the geniuses of this place, they ought to get to know each other better. But she just steps forward, letting the fool hug nothing but air, and even says, what if it were Lin Han? Would I be giving him that hug instead? That fool is fuming, praying that damn Lin Han really did die. Right then, Tianjiao shows up asking where Lin is. Feng immediately says, didn't expect the fatty to survive. Lucky break. Too bad your beast tamer friend didn't have the same luck. Tianjiao tells him to repeat that, and Feng insists, swearing that Lin Han is already dead inside. Cao Chong tries to play the good teacher, but no, he's not telling Feng to shut up, he's telling Tianjiao to. For a second, I thought maybe he'd at least pretend to care to cover it up somehow. But no, he just scolds Tianjiao and tells him to stop blocking the others. Tianjiao, though, is quietly certain Lin will come back. An hour later, Feng's lackeys are all around him, doing what they do best. Changjia was starting to worry a little. Feng's bootlickers are even joking that now there's no one left to take their job of sucking up away. Suddenly, a stone smacks right into one of their heads. Boom, that one's done for. And there's Lin Han, tossing the rock like it's nothing, apologizing for taking so long because he was having too much fun inside. Changjia lights up and runs over to him while Big thinks to herself that the rascal gave her a real scare for a moment. Cao Chong, on the other hand, is stunned. What the hell? I sent 3 men to take this kid out. How's he standing here alive and calm? Then he decides Lin just got lucky this time, but warns himself not to think the boy will keep surviving so easily. Feng pipes up. What the hell? How did a beast tamer make it out alive? No way. He must have just hidden somewhere until the gate opened. Changjia, loyal as ever, immediately defends Lin, saying Feng's lost his mind. Of course, Lin cleared everything inside. Feng says impossible. Soon everyone will see that Lin's just a coward, especially with that useless beast tamer ability. The fatty's furious, while Lin asks how long this big mutt plans to keep barking, warning him that with his abilities he won't even be able to stand under his feet. Feng wants to bet on who has the higher level, putting 100,000 coins on the line. Lin says fine, but he better not regret it. Then he turns to Cao and tells him, stay quiet, cuckold, don't get involved. And Cao just says, all right then, I won't interfere, because he's convinced Lin's going to lose and embarrass himself. But Big, towering as always, notices Lin's grin and knows the boy's planning something. Cao Chong announces the bet is sealed. Changjia jumps in to help Lin, showing off his level 2 berserk. Feng just laughs, mocking him, asking if everything about him is that small. After all, he's a level 3 swordsman. Feng's crew cheers, celebrating how great it is to be his friend. Chan, though, is shaken. It's hard to level up in his starter dungeon since the experience isn't much. Feng warns Lin not to run. He'll have to kneel 3 times now. But Lin just says, fatty, chill out, relax, I got this. And with that, he shows his level 10 beast tamer status. Now everyone's jaw drops. How the hell did someone level up that much from the very first mission? Of course, it's only because Cao Chong threw Lin into a mission meant to kill him, which actually gave him plenty to farm. Feng insists it's impossible. No one in history has ever leveled up that high on their first mission. Not even Lang Lingsu, the most beautiful and powerful student in the entire school. So he calls Lin a cheer. But Lin fires back, telling him to wake up. Just because he can't do it doesn't mean no one else can. Then Lin turns and says, Instructor Cao, you promised to watch over this bet, and now I've won. So please, you're the one who has to make sure Feng doesn't go back on his word. He also makes it clear that the only reason he reached level 10 was because of a few assistants. There were plenty of people during this mission who went out of their way to help him, and he's thankful for that. Cao Chong realizes this damn brat knows I sent people after him, but if he's alive and aware of it, that means he must have captured those guys and forced them to surrender. No way, I worked hard to set this up, and now this kid just ruined my plan. Meanwhile, Lingxi is standing there in shock, a butterfly practically flying around her head. Wait, is he really level 10? Even she, the #1 genius of the academy, hasn't reached level 5 yet with her Magma Tempest class. Right then, the protagonist calls out for Babing, who wants to know what brought her there. A little embarrassed, she says that her business was already wrapped up, so she came by to check out the new talents. Lin's loyal follower is right there praising him when, out of nowhere, Big freezes. Cao Chong suddenly swings a fist down, trying to smash Lin's head. Seriously, people in this story have zero emotional control, because Babing has to jump in to stop him. She throws herself into an honest fist-to-fist clash while he shouts at her to stop defying academy rules, that today he's going to kill Lin Han. Buddy, I think you're the one breaking the rules here. That doesn't even make sense. Even so, Babing, big as she is, gets knocked to the ground. But she gets back up, bold as ever, spinning around and coming at him with a high-heeled kick aimed at his face. Changjia is cheering, but Han knows poor Babing is about to suffer. Cao Chong deflects the attack and says that all the genuine feelings he's had for her are a waste. He grabs her by the ankle, leaving her hanging upside down, and says it's time to take what he wants. This guy could already be thrown in jail for this. But before it gets worse, Lin launches a flying kick right to his ear. Babing falls into Lin's arms and he asks, hey, tough girl, you okay, princess? She blushes and replies, yeah, I'm fine. And Lin, being bold as ever, asks, so Professor Fool, how does it feel to take a level 10 beast tamer kick right to the face? He attacked this girl sneakily and still got wrecked. Cao Chong, using the last 2 brain cells he has, asks how it's possible that he sent 3 level 15 assassins and Lin still came out alive. He concludes that Lin must have killed them and used them as experience, which honestly isn't even an argument. Nobody wants to just die for someone else's plan. Feng's bootlickers are all grinning while Cao Chong declares that he can't allow such a cruel student to stay in this academy. But then something flies past him. One of the men who had attacked Lin falls to the ground, and Lin asks if he's talking about those assistants. That's when Cao Chong realizes it's true. The assassin he sent isn't even alive anymore. If this guy died, none of the others survived either. But for him, that's perfect. After all, dead men can't testify. So he says even the body is here, Lin Han. How are you going to justify yourself? You killed them all. Lin replies that he's not justifying anything. He was on the mountain and found some corpses, so he kindly decided to bring them out. unlike the type of person who would dare to send assassins after a young student on his very first dungeon run. He pats the chest of the fallen man and says, "Man, life really was cruel to you, huh? You died like a fool, and even in death you're being used as a pawn, so this guy can dodge blame. If you ever come back to this world as a ghost, haunt him every single night." Kevichong and Feng both jump at him, throwing punches. Bai Bing calls out to Lin, who's already dodging left and right. In a blur, he's suddenly behind them, asking, "How is it even possible that a teacher like you sent people to kill a student?" The guy's getting angrier, screaming away, but none of his attacks land. Feng's bootlicker crew is cheering him on, and damn, he even busts out a JoJo-style barrage of punches. But even then, the protagonist is still dodging everything, and Kevichong just can't figure out how this is possible. Lin jumps over him, fully aware that what matters right now is avoiding any direct hit. But he's not going to stand there trading blows either. The man's got way more physical strength than him. Honestly, I thought he was going to hand that staff over to Lingshu, who's standing there with her butterfly over the head stunned expression. But no, he equips it himself and immediately casts a spell, freezing the bastard's foot in place. Before Cao Chong can react, Lin swings and lands a brutal strike right to his shin, clearly aiming to break it. Cao Chong crashes against the mountain wall and Lin Han is stunned by the power. Wow, those extra levels really gave him a huge boost. And dropping such a rare item this early? Definitely not normal. Now all he has to do is keep the guy from getting too close, and this fight is his. And of course he knows he's only able to hold his ground thanks to the bonus stats he's getting from his fierce queen ant. Still, he can tell, if he can fight like this, imagine what she can do. She's already level 13 with 1700 strength and charges straight at Cao Chong. Artist, you're almost nailing the perfect angle. Just lower the camera a little more, just a bit lower. Cao Chong decides to go all in, shouting that the brat really does deserve to die, and throws his punch to meet hers. Lightning cracks overhead as everyone watches in shock. But nope, he couldn't handle the impact. He's sent flying back. Changzhou cheers while Bai Bing wonders who the new powerhouse is supposed to be. Feng, meanwhile, can't wrap his head around it. A student actually hitting a teacher like that. But the ant girl is screaming frantically. Lin Han immediately orders Ai to return, and she comes back, huge as always. I told you guys, she's massive. She happily clings to him and asks if he likes it when she obeys. He says yes and tells her she can turn back into a little ant, and she does, hopping back onto his shoulder. Cao Chong tries to keep up his act, saying Lin colluded with outsiders to kill him. He demands to know who that woman from earlier was, the one Lin supposedly brought to murder a teacher. Clearly, he claims Lin should be punished. And then the bastard rips off his shirt, ready to go all out. But suddenly, someone steps on his shoulder and slams him into the ground. They warn Instructor Ko that the case hasn't even been investigated yet, so he better not accuse students without proof. The whole crowd is in shock. The school director himself just showed up. Level 56, rank 1 demon refiner, Saikon Cheng. Kevichong is still trying to spin his story, insisting that Lin killed the assistants just to gain levels. He says he was about to bring Lin to trial when the boy even tried to kill him, and that the evidence is right there. Look at the body on the ground. Lin Han should be executed. But the protagonist just replies that all of this is nothing but false accusations. Why would he drag a corpse out here just to blame himself for murder? Saikon asks what Lin had to say for himself, and Lin tells him to examine how those assistants actually died. Saikon inspects one of the bodies and says the chest bones were completely shattered, with every internal organ pulverized. This type of wound, he explains, is usually caused by extremely large beasts. Kei Chong says it doesn't matter. Even if a beast was the one that killed them, Lin still had something to do with it. Otherwise, why would he have brought the body out here? Lin replies that he's already explained this over and over. He just found the body on the mountain and brought it out. So why are you still insisting I killed him? Maybe it was because, deep down, he knew he was the one who sent them and was terrified of being exposed. Not just as incompetent, but because the entire scheme would come to light. That's when Big, tall and imposing as ever, steps in and says that Cao Chong deliberately sent Lin Han to a zone way above his level. It was clearly an attempt to get the student injured. Cao Chong realizes everyone is turning against him and tries to claim it's all slander. He even calls Big a mutt who only takes the kid's side. Then Saikong speaks up Lin Han, accusing an instructor as a very serious matter. Do you have any proof? Cao Chong secretly celebrates. Perfect. Everyone who could have testified is dead, and now Lin Han is backed into a corner with no way out. But Lin just says he would never accuse anyone without proof. Then he suddenly opens a portal. No idea where he learned that ability out of nowhere, but maybe every hunter in this world can do that. Let's just roll with it. He pulls out 2 of the men along with the beast's remains. Big doesn't even flinch. I swear she must have had Botox. Not a single muscle on her face moves. Meanwhile, the chubby friend just stands there with his usual dumbfounded expression. Lin only brought half of the wolf back with him, but he explains that these 3 were secretly monitoring him, and unfortunately, they ran into the wolf. One of them died, but he managed to take the creature down. Now comes the question, why did Instructor Ko send 3 people to monitor him in this dungeon? Lin kicks one of them hard and says this guy is definitely going to give some answers. Right away, the 2 terrified men start screaming, confessing that Cao Chong gave them permission to go in and cause trouble for Lin. The whole plan was to have him die to a beast so everyone would think it had nothing to do with them. They're spilling everything in desperation, and honestly, I don't even know if the ants are still nibbling at them, but at least back in the dungeon he definitely used his giant ant to get these guys chewed on. That is one hell of a torture method. Lin's standing there with a wicked grin, looking downright psychopathic, and orders instructor Ko to start explaining himself. Kabuchong can't understand why those two would confess like that. He tries to come up with an excuse, but then a talisman suddenly flies in and strikes him square in the chest. It's Psychon, and he says it's a disgrace. An academy instructor plotting to kill a student? Kettle had better prepare himself because the punishment won't be light. Big then says that now that everything's been resolved, Lin can come with her to the car. Let's be honest, she's one hell of a mommy. But just as he's leaving with her, Miss Schoolgirl shows up, arms crossed, face blank like she's had Botox, and asks if he really was the one who killed the Wolf King. She steps in close, all cozy, while Lin asks her to take a step back. But she says, how the hell does someone with a non-combat class deal that much physical damage? You silly bastard, tell me, you definitely tamed a really strong beast, didn't you? Are you getting stat boosts? What's going on? Teach me. I want to see it. Lin is flustered, saying that talking about someone's abilities like that feels kind of inappropriate. He also finds it strange. Everyone at school says Lang Su is supposed to be cold and distant, so why is she acting all nosy today? And whoa, Big Mommy is suddenly jealous. She slaps the girl and tells her she should head home, focus on finishing her homework summary, and stop hanging around picking fights. Now that I think about it, they really do look kind of like mother and daughter. And Dan and our protagonists in the middle of this mess. This man's actually clearing the whole game like a pro. While the two of them are about to start a fight where no one's coming out the loser, Lin waves goodbye, saying he's done for the day. He's exhausted. Both of them are fuming, and wow, Big is jealous of even the giant ant. Granted, the ant is a powerhouse. She's practically competing for the biggest girl title. And now that I look closer, the ant has gray hair too. What's going on here? Does every woman in this world have gray hair? Is that like their version of black hair? Big then says she's leaving now that everything's been resolved and tells Lin to be careful. But Ling Su speaks up, classmate Lin Han, you still haven't answered me. Lin, exhausted, says they'll talk later, and she replies that's fine, but he better not forget. The protagonist feels drained, wondering why it seems like Big was so irritated. But he shrugs it off, it's been a long day, and it's time to get some rest. At the Mountain Exchange House. Wait, who's this? She works here? Guess he's not the only one wanting to trade things today. Obviously, Lin's here to sell some gear and make some cash so he can build up a solid nest egg. Chin, the manager of the place, comes over asking what equipment he has and if he can take a look. Lin just says, here, take a look, my nice long staff and my solid sword. Which one are you gonna grab first? I don't know why he said that out loud, didn't even think, just said it. He's looking at the guy like, what's wrong? Not gonna touch it? Feeling shy, old man. But the man hesitates because of Lin's name. He asks if Lin is from that Lin family. Our boy, a bit confused, says yes. And suddenly the man smiles and says Lin can call him uncle. He was a good friend of Lin's father a long time ago. He pats Lin's shoulder and says the kid's truly impressive, so much strength at his age, and that the resurrection of the Lin family might not be far off. Lin is so starved for kindness that this is the first person in this entire place who seems to actually want what's best for him. And he's already thinking, if this guy's a friend of Dad's, maybe I should push for a higher price. But wait, this uncle might not be so nice after all. He's smiling but thinking, relax, young Lin. I'll give you a fair price, fair for me. This newbie's clueless, I'll buy this for the price of 2 bananas and pay in 12 monthly installments. The man says, young Lin, your staff is excellent. I'll give you 5 million Chanlongs for it. But Lin replies, come on, uncle, business is business. At least give me 8,000 coins. That was the boss drop from that place. The uncle insists on 5. Lin pushes to 8. The uncle sticks to 5, so Lin drops to 6, saying that since he's his uncle, he'll lower it a bit. The man thanks him and says it's a pleasure doing business, while the fierce girl in the background wants to know who this kid is. At that point, she pulls out the 2 things that can buy anything in this world, and no, it's not credit cards. The old man also offers Lin VIP membership cards so he can come back, make trades whenever he wants, and sell anything freely. Since the man just paid him, Lin decides it's time to browse for some items. He starts looking around for good gear while the manager watches, impressed. This kid Lin just awakened recently and is already this strong. He's bound to reach a terrifying level one day. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to cooperate with someone like him. The scene shifts, probably to the next day at Lin's house. There's an older man standing by a car out front. Lin arrives and says, old man, what are you doing here? The man answers, young Lin, it's been so long since we last met. Lin, suspicious, says, yeah, it's been a while. The Lin family's fallen apart, so what do you want here? The man says something about Miss Big having led a team into a mystical cave deep within the diamond rank beast wastes. But because of her unauthorized actions, she was confined and he came to deliver something. I understood as little as you did, and the protagonist is there wondering, why did she go into a diamond rank cave? That's insane. Apparently, she really did push herself for his sake. It looks like he's going to receive something, but the old man tells him to wait a moment because there's a message for him. Big sent word that after this gift, they no longer have any connection. He better stop bothering her. It seems her current family elder is against our boy, but he just replies that to begin with, he doesn't have much of a connection with their family anyway. Besides, when disaster struck the Lin family, it didn't help then and they don't help now, so he doesn't know what they're talking about. Ah, got it. She sent him a void beast as a gift, but the protagonist tells them to take the beast back. If they think they can bring presents and make him look like a fool, they got another thing coming. Old Liu says the kid is bold, but the Bai family won't let him leave without this. What is this? Are they going to beat the boy until he accepts the gift? He warns that if Lin tries to humiliate the Liu family, he'll have to face the consequences. But out of nowhere, our X-Men boy gives him a laser-like glare and the guy freezes. The old man is all twisted up, lost, drifting in the void, wondering what's happening. Lin Han was supposed to be just a trash beast tamer, so why did his body feel a primal fear? The protagonist says, nah, this isn't about spending money, women, and multiplying. Just take this card and get lost, old fool. The old man, card? What do you mean? That's right, I don't want anything from you. Get out of my life. And don't try bringing more gifts or disrespecting the Lin family, because from now on, there's zero relationship between me and the Bai family. The old man is standing there like, damn, I just got clowned. Anyway, we're back home now. Our boy flops onto the bed. Call out the little ant, time to rest a bit. Ha, I called it. She appears in ant form, but not for long. And yeah, I'm getting mouthy. Seems like whatever I think just happens. $1 million in the account? Hold up, let me grab my phone. The best part is she's pocket-sized. When you want her, she pops out and clings to her master, saying he works so hard. Next day at the class change temple, they're welcoming Lin. Everyone's stunned. The kid who beat up a teacher and hit level 10 on his first mission. The protagonist thinks, sheesh, rumors spread fast. Whatever. I was going to draw attention sooner or later. He steps into the crystal room and remembers the receptionist said to just place his hand on it and things would happen. Right then, a quest pops up. Thunderclap of the Fallen Realm. The objective is to kill a beast in the ancient ruins. But the mission is 5-star rank. Outside, everyone's gaping. How is it possible for a kid to get a mission like that right off the bat? The protagonist already figured things wouldn't be easy for him. Outside, the big mouths are yelling, wanting to know who the unlucky fool is. He's dead for sure. The 5-star mission is impossible. Our boy stretches his arms and yawns right in front of the copy-paste crowd. He knows it won't be easy, but at least the reward should be better than usual. Out in those ruined remains, there's a group of mercenaries nearby. Damn, look at the bald guy. Pass us your back day workout routine. The dude's got 2 wing-like lats, almost like a dragon taking off. He looks disappointed because no one's been showing up for missions there, and they're about to starve for another month. But by coincidence and fate's timing, guess who happens to be walking right past him? The soldiers say, whoa, this kid's dressed pretty well. Wait, hold on. The protagonist wearing a black shirt and a little white jacket. But tell me he doesn't have. The back day king calls out to him and says, hey, kid, need help. Hire the mercenaries for my crew. We're the best. Lin keeps walking and answers, I don't need it, thanks. The back day king pushes it. What's this? You're turning us down? Come with us, and grabs Lin by the arm. Irritated, Lin says, stop bothering me. Want a beating? I'll break you right here. Then shoves the guy away. The protagonist's thinking, what's this guy's deal? Trying to get a commission off my quest. Thinks I'm some clueless amateur. The bald lat monster is clutching his arm in pain. I'm gonna kill this brat. But then someone tells the bald guy to forget it. And what the hell, girl? That knife strike is vicious. Dangerous as hell. Look at how deep it sank into the wood. Yeah, I'm sure everyone is definitely looking at the wood. That's got to be it. She tells the bald guy to relax because nobody messes with them and walks away fine. The protagonist is staring at absolute nothingness. Well, it's a desert. But nothing beats having a pocket-sized queen ant with curves. He summons her with a pat. Always got good company, the little rascal. He also activates a system quest to defeat the Heart of Thunder. He's supposed to hunt down the apostle and obtain the heart, and who knows what reward he'll get. Maybe another powerhouse. At least it also gives 300 beast points, and he knows Yi needs them to level up. The obvious downside, where's this Thunder Apostle? How's he supposed to find it? He starts pressing for intel and gets a bit of information. For now, he decides they'll focus on the class quest and then hit this one to earn her some points. Elsewhere in the desert, the Thunder Beasts are out. The big queen ant charges in, smashing into the rocky mound in the middle, while a few beasts run at Lin, who whips out a scroll. What's this? A broken scroll, he casts Meteor. Who needs mages in a world like this? The poor wolves never had a chance. He strings together hit after hit. He keeps farming stones while the creatures realize they're outmatched and try to flee. Actually, no, because he keeps spamming 1,000,000 explosions and wipes the desert clean. The fight ends and our boy figures that wasn't bad at all. He managed to gather a good haul of stones. The big little ant dings up to level 15 while he's stuck at 10. He needs to advance his class before he can level again. Looks like he bought some intel from someone, so he checks his phone to see if it came through. There it is, the map marker. He immediately tells the menace, come on, wide-hipped one. Let's rack up some points. Meanwhile, while he's running around with one target, another set of eyes is on him. She's all smiles, huge and happy. Oh, you naughty thing. if you've got those extremely expensive scrolls and you're burning through that many, you must be loaded. Lightbulb head goes, "Boss, what do we do?" She answers, "No rush. Let the kids stack up more loot first." In other words, what does that mean? We're two dime store villains. Let him get really strong and try to jump him. Boss, you're a genius. Right after that, they find the Thunder Apostle, level 17. The protagonist thinks this is way easier than expected. Considering he already took down that level 22 boss, he orders the Queen Ant, still huge, to charge in, and she goes in grinning. The Apostle wakes up immediately, but takes a punch right in the mouth. And the Queen Ant, in the very next second, shrinks to tiny size and dives into the ground, leaving the creature totally confused. She pulls the same combo, bursts up from below, and blasts a bazooka shot into its gut. At the same time the thing gets launched upward, our boy activates a diamond-grade scroll right over its head and tells the fool to die. Damn, outside of the powerhouse plays, he actually fought pretty well here. The only bad part, he earned 0 experience. The big Queen Ant is exhausted for some reason, and he admits it was a lot of work. Buddy, you used a scroll. At least he's hyped because he earned 300 beast points. He immediately dumps all of them into the ant. Good stuff, top 10 things to do. Evolve your pets so they get stronger, and you can advance your Pokemon-style journey. With that, she awakens one of the 10 primordial talents, Steel Bones, and gains 20% more defense. She hugs our boy, saying she feels much stronger. But while they're getting all cuddly in the desert, someone calls out to the kid. It's the Heartbreaker Bandit warning them they're trespassing on territory they shouldn't be in. Lin goes, "Hey, Lightbulb head in the back, weren't you the guy who wanted to help me for free?" The big bald guy barks, "You crazy for turning down mercenaries? Hand over that treasure." The protagonist, "Oh please, you think you're robbing someone in broad daylight? Wake up, Chrome Dome." The redhead, gorgeous, goes, "Kid, you do realize this isn't a safe zone, right? No patrols out here and you're alone. Picture your body sinking into this sand, buried and eaten by beasts because no one's going to find you." Then she adds, "But relax, big sis will take care of you." Yeah, the second she says that, the Queen Ant vanishes. Everybody in this story gets jealous. She pops up behind the redhead, grabs 2 of the fools by the hands, and starts spinning, hurling bodies everywhere like a human tornado. The poor girl gets flung far. Meanwhile, the guys pull out that American magic to try and deal with our boy, but the ant has just awakened steel armor, and she's untouchable. The redhead's falling all awkward, yelling for the crew to run. He looks like that meme of the cafeteria girl dropping her tray, staring up. Lin steps forward and says it's too late for her to run. A Zeus-level thunderbolt nails her right on the head. Everybody's toasted, and the bald one is gasping. How is this kid burning through so many scrolls? He's got to be a billionaire. The redhead refuses to give up. That woman only listens to him. Plus, he hides behind those scrolls. If we close the distance, this will be easy. Ballpoint Tip chimes in that, yeah, the kid seems weak and is relying on props. Lin tells them to relax because for every little scheme they cook up, he's got 4 more scrolls. And today they're going to learn the power of money, but not before they hand over all their gear and magic stones they've been hoarding. Otherwise, he'll have to wipe their entire inventory. The poor redhead realizes they're the ones getting robbed now. Meanwhile, back at the class change temple, there's another flirt on duty. There's always a flirt somewhere in this world. She's like, "Wow, who was that boy who took the 5-star mission? Is he even alive?" And then, who shows up to say hi? The stone-faced legend himself, saying he finished the quest and came to turn it in. She's completely lost, thinking she misheard. No way, he already completed it. A 5-star mission isn't something you just wander off to and come back done a little while later. She figures she misunderstood and offers to fetch more info to help him. He says, "Girl, you're not getting it. I said I finished it." She lets out a scream that shakes the whole place. How is that possible? He just shrugs and says it was pretty easy. She replies that if that's the case, he can go submit the mission. But she's thinking it's only been a few hours. Did he really clear it? He can't be faking this. Right then, the notification pops. Thunder of the Fallen Realm completed. She jolts and everyone around is thrown into confusion. How many bald guys are in this story? Is it all just laziness about drawing hair? The system congratulates our boy for picking up a 2nd class, and he becomes the top school beast tamer. He's hyped, saying this feeling is amazing, and obviously now that he's advanced, it's time to snag another big monster to keep in his pocket. He also unlocks the Thunder Wings ability, which lets him fly for an hour, plus skill replication. That means he can use his beast's abilities himself, but only for 5 minutes with a 2-hour cooldown. There's also Bloodline Reversion, which lets blood-type beasts revert their bloodline. No idea what that actually does, but that's the description. On top of that, he can choose one of 3 skills. Fusion apparently lets him merge with a beast. Telepathy lets him communicate with the powerhouses, and Malicious Fluctuation detects hostile intent nearby, including from humans. The protagonist feels like none of that sounds bad at all. Right away, he decides to test those lightning wings, activates them, and takes off. Up there, he's excited. Flight is usually something you need advanced magic books for, so this was worth it. And being able to replicate IE's ability already sounds great considering how strong she is. Now for the other reward. Fusion lets him fuse with a beast. I thought it meant fusing 2 beasts together. Please don't do that. You'll end up wide-hipped and I'll cry from sadness. He figures that since he's still weak in leveling, the auto-alarm might be the smartest pick. For example, he wouldn't have taken any risks back in the desert because he'd have sensed those mercenaries' intentions in advance. Smart thinking, kid. With the skill registered, he stretches, worn out, and instantly another quest pops. This is the one we've been waiting for. He's now authorized to capture and link with one more beast of his choice. He thinks Yai is plenty powerful in one-on-one fights, but she struggles against mobs. This time he only managed because of the scroll rain. It'd be nice to have a pet that handles crowds. Maybe it's time to visit Uncle Tien, sell some loot, and pick up more intel and cash. Moments later, Uncle's already standing there slack-jawed while our protagonist shows off a pile of items, saying he met a very generous group who handed everything over. Uncle calls over the Miniscript crew. Dude, why do all your employees have that kind of easy access? You're a shady guy. What a scandal. Watching the powerhouses get to work, the protagonist thinks thank goodness those desert guys showed up. They gave him way more than he would have gotten normally. The old man says, hey kid, this time you brought in 10 million celestial dragon coins. Nice job. The protagonist goes, thanks uncle, but you have a beast to recommend. Something thunder type. The old man thinks it over. Thunder. Ah, I've got it. I heard about a top-tier one that appeared in the Wuzhou City forest a few days ago. Seemed to be a bird with an ancestral bloodline, but everyone who tried to capture it came back empty-handed. Lin Han gets excited. An ancestral bloodline is exactly what he wants. He asks for more details, but Uncle says they don't have much, except they do have a feather from the lightning bird. Miss Bare Hips steps up and shows him the feather. In theory, it glows brighter the closer you get to the bird. The protagonist looks down and says it's really nice. The feather or the girl. But as he reaches out to take it, Uncle says, easy there, Lin Han. If you really want this feather, you'll have to pay 1 million. The protagonist can't believe it. That crooked uncle really wants to squeeze 1 million out of him for a single feather. But at the same time, it's the only Lee he has to capture a pet with an ancestral bloodline. So you know what? Hand it over, old goat. Looking at the item, he thinks, damn it, I can't believe I just spent 1 million on a feather. But whatever, time to hunt the next bombshell. They're already in the mountains and area recommended from level 20 down to level 0. Now, is that 0 as in infinity down or 0 as in before 1? He remembers the uncle said the feather starts glowing when he's within 10 meters of the bird. Lin Han tosses the thing on the ground and points out the obvious. At 10 meters, he'd open his eyes and see the bird anyway. But forget that, this is here to help him lock down something important. All he needs to do is keep walking through the forest and eventually he'll find something. Whoa, he hasn't even seen the full design and he already likes her. Looks like this one's going to be the bird girl, and of course she's got white hair. He's excited because with this new girl and Yi on his shoulder who's glaring with jealous little eyes, he's sure dungeons are about to be easy mode. She immediately drops her transformation and decks him, telling him he better be satisfied with just her. But in the middle of their playful scuffle, someone cries for help in the forest. A girl sprints out in a panic. Help, a thunder leopard is chasing me. Level 19. Oh no, it's going to catch me. I'm going to die. The girl's name is Su Nyan Wei, a level 10 tracking master, exactly what he needs. Completely flustered, she trips on a root and eats dirt face first. Girl, what even is that pose? Get up, the big cat's about to take a bite. No, you don't close your eyes and wait for the chomp. That's how you die. The screen goes black, game over. But when she opens her eyes, the hero's arrived, using the replication ability to land Ayu's punch. That's probably the only way because the little ant refuses to save a woman for him. He looks at the poor girl. You okay? Meanwhile, she's thinking, he one-punched a thunder leopard. She says, there are tons of leopards here. We have to run. The protagonist goes, that's just a big kitty. Relax. I got this. I got this, in this case, means the giant ant. Out of nowhere, Ai becomes enormous, huge, and starts biting. It's brutal and downright violent. She's wrecking the poor big cat. One of the top 10 saddest things. She should always fight in human form, so the artist has to show off their skills. Even the protagonist didn't know she could get that big. Nyan Wei is confused, wondering where this other beast came from. Time to farm some aura and lay it on thick. Hey, kitty, okay? Did you get hurt? Come on, up you go. She's not here for flirting. She jumps up and bolts, saying they need to get out before they run into another wolf above level 20. But right in front of them, one of the wolves drops. The little ant stomps down and asks if that punk plans to attack her master again. Nyan Wei thinks they're done for, but the protagonist just praises Ai and gives her a pat. The girl's baffled. Why is he petting the murder ant? He turns and says he's Lin Han, the baddest beast tamer. No reason to be scared. She brightens up, saying she heard a beast tamer showed up in the city. That must be him. She brings her epidermis orbs right up to the ant, who jumps in shock, feeling threatened. She goes in for a friendly pat, but Ai counters with a quick triangle combo. Bam to the chin. The protagonist tells Ai to calm down a bit, then asks what Nyan Wei is doing out here considering how weak and useless she is. The poor girl blurts, wow, rude. Just kidding. She says, well, I'm here to pass my second-class test, but I got unlucky and drew a 4-star mission. And you, what are you doing here, dummy? The protagonist explains, I'm in this forest to hunt the lightning bird. That's my goal. Nyan Wei perks up and says, if that's the case, they can help each other since she's a tracker. And because he saved her, she definitely owes him one. Lin is excited. This is exactly the kind of person he needed. someone to help find that blasted bird. He immediately takes her hand and says his mission is now in her hands. She explains that her abilities have some limits. For example, tracking is much easier if she has the creature's item. What an amazing coincidence. Looks like I've got a feather right here. Miss. The moment she looks it over and sees the quality is high, she says it won't be hard to find. Now it's easy. She warns that her ability might end up damaging the feather, and he says that's fine. It's almost useless to him anyway, since it only works within 10 meters for now. She agrees and immediately activates her tracking ability. She opens her eyes and says she can feel something pulling her in that direction. The protagonist says perfect, time to move. They walk a bit deeper into the forest until he tells her to be careful. He's sensing some ferocious beasts up ahead. She asks what they should do and gets ready to mash them. The protagonist says it's easy to handle and tells her to charge in. You can see the experience bar shooting up. You can't even tell where the monster is. She's out there destroying whatever's in the way, furious and huffing, probably jealous. A while later, she comes back all cute and smiling at our boy. Nyanwei is confused. Did the little ant really kill everything by herself? He tells her that for the ant, this is a walk in the park. Finally, he also levels up to 11 after being stuck for so long. Meanwhile, the little ant is eating Nyanwei away from our guy. He tells her to stop being so naughty, but judging by her face, she's not stopping. Nyanwei is baffled, asking what just happened, and then she sees the big ant clinging to him. She stands up, dusting herself off, saying that explains a lot. The queen ant just stares her down, thinking this wretch is trying to seduce her master. She'd better be careful, or she'll get torn in half. Nyanwei, on the other hand, thinks the ant is adorable, and says a little ant like that couldn't possibly have bad intentions. She goes in for a pet while the ant is thinking, annoying woman, I want to smack this girl around, but she'll probably die. Master, help me. Get her away from me. Lin Han asks Nyanwei to stop bothering the little ant and to get back to what they came here to do. Countless notifications pop up as they move through the forest and farm more creatures. Our boy is already level 15, 1,820 strength. He's both excited and a bit disappointed. Soon he'll be stuck at level 20 and need to advance class again. On the other hand, better early than late. He looks at the little ant and says the journey's been long. The poor thing is already asleep. Nyanwei agrees, it's taking much longer than she imagined. They've left a trail of every creature in the forest lying dead behind them, but she's confident. She can feel they're getting closer and will be the first to find it. Suddenly, the little ant is saying something and our boy senses something odd. Maybe she felt the presence of another powerful creature. He glances to the side, and there it is, the lightning bird, level 13. Low level, honestly. Right away, the protagonist thinks that if he seals a Pokemon-style contract with that thing, it'll be perfect. But the bird is clever and bolts immediately. Nyanwei says this is going to be tough. Nobody here can fly, right? How are they supposed to catch it? What she doesn't know is that this is exactly the ability Lin Han awakened. He unfurls his golden wings and asks what she means by not being able to fly. In the same breath, he rockets straight toward the Thunderbird. He cuts it off and says, "Hey little bird, want to become my beast? I promise you'll get even stronger." But the bird isn't having it and darts away. The protagonist realizes it clearly isn't the type that wants to be tamed. Then he suddenly turns into a tease, saying this is exactly the kind of wild beast he likes and he's dying to play with her. That's literally what he says. He tells Nyanwei to wait there, and it's not like she could go far anyway. He closes in on the beast, saying, "Come here, my friend. You're not getting away. Come." But again, she slips free at the last second. He grumbles that the little menace won't stop running when suddenly, she stops and summons a storm of lightning around herself. Lin Han declares that if that's how it is, they're going to have a life or death fight. He charges in with a punch and bang, hammers the bird on the head, even grabbing her by the neck. He activates the beast contract and it binds instantly. Even better, it registers at the creature's natural level 13. The system asks if he wants to use atavism, that feature that reverts to ancient bloodlines. He remembers, thanks to the system he can evolve his beasts, and the evolution we've been waiting for arrives. The Thunderbird undergoes atavism and shifts into its second form, the Thunder Empress. Gorgeous. She jumps to level 18 with 1,900 strength. Staring at this powerhouse, he's impressed. She really climbed 5 levels just from that ability. Now he has a weapon for large-scale kills. She calls out to her master in her newly massive form. Our boy sizes her up, thinking she is definitely a wild one. There's going to be fierce competition. Right then, Ayer, jealous on his shoulder, transforms and steps forward for a duel, demanding to know what this stinking bird is doing here trying to steal her master. The bird basically says she eats ants for lunch, so the ant had better watch it or she'll bite. The protagonist tells both of them to calm down and stop with the fighting because he's the master here. When he calls Ayi by name, the bird perks up and asks for a name too. He tells a story from ancient times about a Sky Thunder master named Tango and gives her that name. But no way am I using the full-on Chinese name here. I'm calling her Bird to the end. The protagonist thinks, what a gentle, powerful girl, I'm dying to test her lightning. He has an idea where he can do it, while Tanwei is still standing there in the forest waiting for him. The scene shifts to a barbarian camp. She asks, Lin Han, are you sure you want to attack that creature there? They're part of my mission, but I'd only need to kill the leader, not the entire camp. The protagonist says, don't worry, I got what I wanted, and now I'll help you too. Immediately, he orders the bird to take off. She soars into the sky, expands to her large form, and triggers a lightning storm. The heavens close up with purple clouds rolling in while the barbarians below wonder what's happening. Seeing they're all level 10, the protagonist almost feels bad. They won't stand a chance. He even asks the bird to go a bit easier, otherwise she might kill the leader too. She advances, saying she'll obey her master, and then drops to the ground, taking out the first targets. One poor barbarian draws his bow, saying he'll handle it right now, but in a second she's already face to face, gripping his neck, and a bolt of lightning drops from the sky onto him. Tianwei is stunned, saying that even with so many enemies, she still seems to be handling everything. Another body drops in front of them, she's already stepping on it, and our guy praises her. Now he notices it's the leader's body, and he hands Tianwei a little dagger, telling her to finish the mission. She thanks him, gives a quick stab, and completes her objective. She's all sweet about it, saying that without him she never could have done it. Honestly, no way, you look pretty useless, girl. Now she's offering him what you'd expect, right, fellas? That's right, come visit her hometown. What else would it be? But with two curvy monsters and the big mommy, you couldn't care less. He just says they'll talk later. She blushes and says, I hope we meet again soon. Back in the forest, he's being chased by those mountains of muscle when he suddenly gets a call from Long Qianjiao, his chubby friend. The protagonist says, if this is about grabbing food, don't even start. But the chubby one says it's not that. He's got something important. Has Lin heard of the Ghost Realm? What's this? Why are there a bunch of hot nuns hunting creatures? 3 more beasts rush in, and Tanjio explains it's a place the Empire uses to simulate battles, test power, and practice. It doesn't give experience, but it's perfect for training. Looks like our boy's already there. Tanjio says everyone fights for a chance to enter, but he talked to his dad and got spots for both of them. The protagonist thinks it over. He knows the 2 thick girls are pretty strong. Now he's imagining them saying they'll do anything for him, that he can rely on them, that they'll always give it their all. Nosebleed time, he needs to improve their teamwork. Lin Han thanks Long for always helping him out, and his friend tells him to relax, just don't forget him when he gets swole. Cut to 8 in the morning. Our boy wakes up being crushed by a dangerous bug. Before he can react to the first beating, the other one pulls him in for a clean hit. He dives into the famous epidermis sphere, wondering what the hell is going on. The 2 are fighting, and he's the one who keeps winning. He asks them to calm down, but seeing they won't stop, he just leaves. They arrive at the simulated Ghost Realm. The attendant explains he can choose any difficulty he wants, and obviously the rewards are tied to records. He steps into the capsule, the woman tells him to enjoy, and missions start popping up. Since he's level 15, Silver Tier is recommended, and he accepts immediately. He summons the 2 powerhouses, they cheer, and the loading begins. The scene shifts to the arena inside the illusion. He appears in the middle with his 2 companions when a few mediocre level 13 wolves show up. The little ant charges ahead, declaring she won't let that smelly bird butt in. She instantly finishes off 3 wolves and even calls out to prove who's boss. Shang says dealing with something that easy is trivial. Acting like that is childish. She stretches out her hand and shows the power of true strength, blasting the wolves' backs with a shock explosion. They're at it again, bickering while the protagonist begs them to please, for the love of everything, stop. They're one big family who should love and help each other. In the middle of it, a wolf lunges at him, and he punches it away, grumbling that he's the one taking hits because the 2 keep fighting. The flustered duo rushes him, apologizing, asking if he got hurt. Both of them are thinking the same thing, that because of their little fight he's in danger, so they need to calm down. At that very moment, level 20 wolves show up. Obviously, he's going to be stuck as a level 3 creature forever. He's in shock at how tough this is. Not even rare combat classes could handle it, but that's exactly what he wanted so he could practice. One of the biggest weaknesses of a Pokemon master has always been their ability to fight up close. And now in this illusory realm, he has the chance to work on his biggest weak point. He delivers a heavy hit that sends the beast flying, and the 2 girls are totally smitten. He says that the attribute points he's getting because of them aren't so bad after all. But suddenly the pack starts howling. The trio moves forward, and whoa, all the ant takes care of things, even threw the girl off. Once again they charge in again, competing for the leader's attention. Our boy thinks there's no way those wolves could match the strength and speed of the 2. They're firing attacks all around, explosions, and meanwhile, in the center, who's arriving? None other than Feng Yang himself. With an IQ of 16, his gang is goofing off. His friends are doing what they do best, right? There's a girl standing there looking kind of confused. It seems they invited her into the group and she just said she prefers to fight alone. Fang gets excited thinking this girl is at her peak. He's going to win her over right then and show his power. But someone else who looks like, I don't know, a relative of his is shouting in the middle of the hall, wanting to know what those numbers were. Someone was breaking all the records. In one of the rooms it shows a certain dungeon was at its final stage and only 8 minutes had passed. Who was the badass? Lin Han. His head is already like, holy crap, the final stage in 9 minutes? That's a chance to break the record. Right then the girl says, oh my god, isn't Lin Han the kid who became a beast tamer at my school? school? Fang hangs back, wondering how the poor guy managed to get access to this place. Then a notification arrives that the record had been broken, leaving them all open-mouthed. Inside the dungeon, the little wolves are all lying dead on the ground while he's exhausted, celebrating that it's finally over. Even though it didn't give experience, he still gets a skill level that he's eager to test in the illusory realms. As soon as he steps out of the cabin and walks around, everyone's already talking about the badass who broke the record. Seeing that, he doesn't want to draw attention anymore and tries to sneak away quietly, but the waifu catches the protagonist's scent. Yeah, she spots him right away and calls him out. Yang is fuming. The bastard stole his spotlight again. Meanwhile, at the military base, there's a guy pointing out some mistakes in the reports. It looks like someone broke the record recently, but he did it alone, and that clearly makes no sense at all. The kid's a tamer, and most offensive or destruction-focused classes couldn't achieve something like that. The captain knows that even if the boy had tamed incredible beasts, results like this should be impossible. If he really were a genius on that level, they needed to recruit him. Right away, he orders an investigation on the kid. He wants all the papers on him by tomorrow. The next day in the classroom, Tianzhou is showing off, bragging, "That's right, everyone, I'm Lin Han's bootlicker." The girls are all gushing. "Oh my god, Lin Han, he's so amazing." When suddenly, boom, the door gets kicked open. Feng storms in, telling Lin Han to get out right now. Tianzhou wants to know what this fool is doing here. He already embarrassed himself once, and by the looks of it, he's here to do it again. Feng, though, is convinced that Bastard used some kind of exploit, some hidden trick to break that record. He'd received countless resources from his family, so there's no way he should be behind this kid. Tianzhou then reveals that Lin Han went to complete his third advancement, so he doesn't exactly have time to waste talking with this fool. Feng Hang's lackeys are muttering, "Lin Han's already switching classes again? No way. That kid's on another level." They're ready to ditch Feng and start fawning over Lin Han instead. Tianzhou mocks him, saying someone who hasn't even reached his second evolution has no business being here, calling out for Lin Han. That's when the blonde guy tells the chubby one to wait and see what he'll do. Well, hit the chubby one then, he's right in front of you. He's not strong anyway. Lin Han's in the other room, so better save it for later when you'll really get beaten. Still, Feng is boiling inside, muttering that he's going to expose those bastards. The scene then shifts to Shadow Mountain, where purple lightning is striking the ground and the little monsters all have these stubs on their heads. Our boy is grinning, saying with all these wings flapping around, leveling up has become easy. The giant ant clings to him, asking what he thinks about her monster-killing speed. Tianhu grabs him too, wanting to know, "Well, what do you think of me? I killed 2 more than her." The protagonist, a bit awkward, says she's amazing too, and of course, the two immediately start fighting like always. He's intrigued though. Their abilities keep getting stronger and stronger. These silver-level creatures from this region don't even give them much experience anymore. So he turns to them and asks what they think about moving up to a gold zone. When they get there, they spot some level 21 poisonous lizards napping peacefully. The protagonist didn't expect to find a whole colony right away, but it was perfect to sharpen their skills. He tells the giant ant to draw their attention while Tianhu blasts them with thunder. She charges in, throwing a punch and claiming she'll handle it easily. But damn, she eats a face full of venom. She's instantly paralyzed, twitching and shaking like crazy. Not only is she immobilized, but her HP is getting drained too. These monsters are brutal, surrounding her and spitting poison from all sides. The protagonist immediately shouts for Tianhu to unleash her thunder, and she triggers a thunderstorm, striking with heavy purple bolts in the middle of everything. The problem is her storm is completely random. Lightning rains down, but she doesn't control where it lands, so it's never guaranteed to finish the job. He realizes he needs some way to control the monster's movements. Yeah, it would be better if he could control the lightning's movement, right? But fine. He remembers that book he got back in the Empty Kingdom during the test, the one that granted him the Voodoo Thorn's skill, letting him paralyze monsters on the ground. With them frozen in place, he knew it'd be much easier to hit, and right away he throws it out, telling those lizards their end has come. He slams the ground, lines spread out, and the reptiles get bound in place. At that moment, little birds swooped from the skies, unleashing a shower of thunderbolts, and they rake in the experience. The ants throwing punches as well, while Lin Han notices the pace isn't bad at all. In no time, they've already leveled up 4 times, and now the monsters seem to be getting tougher still. At this rate, it won't take long at all for him to hit level 22. The ant lands another blow on a giant's face, while Tianhu has one pinned by the neck. The wolves are already dropping 1,000 more experience than the lizards, and with that, our boy finally reaches level 20. Which means, yeah, he's got to switch classes again, most likely welcoming another powerhouse. He knew there was no reason to keep farming, so he heads straight to complete the 3rd-class mission. Standing before the crystal in the hall, he can't believe he's back again this quickly. He approaches, hoping it won't be another 5-star mission, since the last one dragged on forever. But surprising absolutely no one. It's announced outside that yet another 5-star mission has been activated. The secretary's only thought is, must be that weirdo Lin Han again. How on earth is this level-obsessed freak climbing so fast? The protagonist, however, seeing the mission, asks if they're just trying to get him killed. National Ship's Breath, a 5-star quest. You have to enter a ghost ship, wipe out every creature inside, and gather 2 materials. The scene shifts, and he's standing before the sea. His plan was to switch classes, go home, and rest. Instead, something much harder landed in his lap. But his two beauties appear, saying, "Master, don't be afraid. We'll make sure everything gets done." He replies that he believes them while checking the time and noticing it's nearly there. At exactly 7, the ghost ship rises. Lin Han's heard plenty about this place. It's a famous dungeon that draws a crowd. Problem is, most people need to be a high level to even try it, since the monsters inside are insanely strong, and most who enter die. Right away, the first ghost pops up in his face, nearly scaring him to death. He throws a punch, but the creature dodges with ease. He realizes the thing is actually laughing at him for missing. He instantly spreads his wings and takes flight, saying he'll deal with it now. And bam, he cuts straight through it in one go. The system congratulates him but warns he earns 0 experience. Lin cheers, remembering that spiritual monsters are usually weak to electricity, and his wings are perfect for this. It's just a shame he'll slaughter a bunch of them and get no experience out of it. No sooner does he say that than a swarm of creatures surges from the ship's deck. The protagonist calls on his lightning queen to handle him, and she rains down bolts on the poor things. He notices they don't stand a chance against her. It's almost too easy for a 5-star mission. But of course, the moment he says that, a strange sound starts echoing and the creatures begin to gather together. Out of the ship's circle rises the ghost captain, level 25. The monster unleashes a hail of bullets at our boy's beast, and he thinks to himself that now, finally, things are getting interesting. Immediately, he orders the big ant to grab its attention while the other one blasts it with thunder. The big ant charges in, dodging from every angle, and the creature fires its barrage. But right behind it, Qianhu slams a thunder strike onto its arm, forcing it to drop the gun. At the same time the weapon falls, a little ant lands a blow to its stomach, and the two of them cheer. Seems like they're finally starting to get along. The protagonist thinks it's a miracle. They're not competing so much this time and tells them to finish it quickly. The bird swoops overhead while the ant punches the stomach again. The other one raises her arms, conjuring another storm, and the whole ship lights up. The protagonist bolts, running for his life. He's not staying in that chaos. From afar, he once again earns 0 experience, grumbling that this thing is way too rigged. The two girls just wave at him like it's all done. And honestly, now he really looks more like a beast tamer, doesn't he? Doesn't do a single thing, just watches them handle everything. Still, he celebrates that at least they finally started to get along. Not for long though, soon another one will join the party, and that harmony will vanish. Now that the ship's cleared, it's time to hunt for materials. This guy's a grinder, seriously. Doesn't stop for a second. What's he farming 48 hours straight? They're already in the red flame forest. There's a strange flower stuck in a tree. Apparently, our protagonist is using some sort of 7th sense to find it. How the hell is he even noticing that? He celebrates, saying he didn't expect to find the material this easily. The bird suggests she would just fly in, grab the flower, and be gone before the lizards even wake up. But he says there are too many branches and plants in the way. She might get stuck. The big ant then says she can handle it easily. But before that, a quick flashback. 10 minutes earlier, the Thunder Queen had already slipped past some jungle lizards, snagged a little orb, and brought it to the protagonist. That's why the ant now wants to go, since she didn't really do anything before. So he gives her permission. She starts digging underground, and who the hell added those sound effects splashed across the screen? He curses the timing, saying whoever placed them doesn't know how to position sound effects at all. The bird calls her crazy, while the protagonist thinks that, in the end, she really is just an ant at heart. She tunnels under the soil, clearly enjoying herself, pops up right where the flower is, climbs the tree, grabs it from the branch, and leaps off. Actually, it wasn't her leap. The winged lizards had used an ability to jump up at her. He realizes they've been discovered, and suddenly they're surrounded on all sides. Lin curses at the dumb ant, telling her to fix the mess. Qianhu charges in, barreling through 3 or 4 at once, scooping up the ant by the belly and carrying her back to the protagonist along with the flower. He thanks them, praising their teamwork. Now they just have to run because the lizards are closing in and he won't get any experience anyway. So the squad makes a break for it. But wait, Ant Girl, what are you doing? Sure, you're strong, but you can't abandon your master like that. Save him, he's about to get bitten. The protagonist realizes his agility stat isn't very high yet. Then again, 2,500 doesn't seem that low. Problem solved, and now it's at 3,200, plenty to escape easily. But the big ant lags behind, yelling, "Too slow, sucker." Later, they dash through the forest, which is now oddly on fire. As the wind lizards reach that burning area, they seem to retreat. Lightning Queen asks if he planned that, and he says yes. Wind lizards fear fire. Besides, fire lizards are the strongest and most dangerous, so the others don't dare mess with them. The best part? Of course, the final material they need is right in this very region. In another part of the forest, deep in the magma, fire lizards lie sleeping. The tender trio takes a cautious look, and our protagonist quickly spots the flower high up on the branches. The easiest plan would have been to let Qianhu fly up and snatch the thing. But of course, the system won't let him just walk away like that. It announces that the current mission is to wake up all the fire lizards and wipe them out. The reward, 1,000 beast points. Tempting, but Lin Han knows better. If I lose here and get stuck in this mission, I won't level up anymore. So for now, it's safer to grab the item first. He tells the girls, let's secure the flower first and we'll deal with the monsters. But come on, after all that drama, in one frame she's grabbing it, in the next she's handing it over. Dan mess. He's staring at the item, thinking all that's left is to change class, when suddenly he feels something coming from the side. Between him and Chanhu, a bolt of lightning strikes the ground. The trio turns and someone remarks that the boy is lucky. It's Hogwarts boy saying it'd be smart to hand over that fire dragon emblem and get out. Lin Han asks, "What's your deal, old man? Who do you think you are? Explain yourself." The guy smirks. "I'll explain. I'm Lin Dong, I'm really strong. I'm from the Magic Association Academy, level 18. Lin Han thinks, "Magic Association? I know them. They're just an organized gang. They like to collect protection fees. They call themselves an association, but at the end of the day, they're nothing but thugs." Lin Dong says, "Come on, kid. Hand over that emblem or I'll beat you down." His lackey chimes in, "Hey, kid, show some respect for the boss. And hold on a sec. Boss, look at that. He's got two giants by his side. That's not normal." The boss immediately changes his tone. "You know what? I changed my mind. Forget the emblem. Hand over the girls. Time for the brothers to have some fun." Lin Han fires back. "You're trash. I'll have to clean this environment up. You're polluting the place." Confused, Li Dong asks what the hell he's talking about. "I warned you. Since you don't appreciate kindness, so be it. You'll get eaten alive by the lizards." His crew starts conjuring fireballs, sneering, "Too bad, your women are too good to belong only to you." What the hell? Sharing relationships now? Treating it like communism? But before the words finish, the two vanish from the protagonist's side and instantly start hammering Hogwarts and his gang. Three of them hit the floor like clowns, while Lei Dong wonders why these women are so damn powerful. The protagonist then announces it's his turn to introduce himself. Just a simple beast tamer. "And these girls here? My beasts." As he threatens that it's time for the guy to be torn apart, the enemy charges an electric sphere at his back. He launches a Kamehameha ball, but oh no, you don't hurl thunder at Chanhu. She appears and blocks it with ease. The fool doesn't get it. Wow, what the hell? Big Ant? She stomps in flat, crushing down hard. That stomp landed perfectly, but dangerous. It could cost them if they're not careful. Right after, Harry Potter's friends are hanging from the ropes, shouting, "If we die, the association will hunt you down." Lin Han just replies, "Relax, buddy. You like me. I like you. That's why I'll be needing your help." The guy wants to know what he means when suddenly the lizards look up. Something's about to feast. The fools are being used as bait by Tenhu, screaming for help, admitting they were wrong, while the lizards are ready to bite their asses. The protagonist is entertained while the ant asks what exactly he's planning. He explains, "Girl, if we want to kill the leader, we first need to throw out some bait." At that moment, the ropes holding the enemy snap. They fall to the ground and the lizards close in. The thugs start firing lightning bolts, warning them to stay back, but the beasts don't react at all. They leap straight at them. Lin Han curses, "Pathetic, useless trash." Then he orders Tanhu, "Go save them for now." She summons the Thunder Eyes, unleashing a storm that wipes out the creatures. The protagonist cheers, saying that now for sure, something bigger must be coming. Suddenly, the magma stirs and erupts upward. From the center emerges the Fire Lizard leader, level 28. Immediately, he orders Tanhu to act. She soars overhead, firing bolts down its back, drawing its attention. But the beast also notices the others nearby, fighting, being eaten, struggling. Lin Han shows no mercy. He declares he doesn't care. If they don't die to the lizards, and he'll kill them himself. After all, he only has one objective, and Tianhu is leading it straight to him. At that moment, the ant charges in, slamming a punch into the creature's face and unleashing a flurry on its head, cracking its shell. He tells her to keep up the pressure, while Tianhu rains more thunderbolts down. Lin Han is excited. Even though the monster is high level, if they cooperate little by little, they can bring it down. Cooperate meaning them, of course. He isn't lifting a finger. Damn slacker. Then suddenly, a strange sound echoes. He has to cover his ears. The two are flung upward by a roar as the monster conjures a blazing sun in their direction. The protagonist shouts for them to get out of the way. But no, Chanhu steps in front to shield the ant. Heroic, reckless. She pushes them aside and the blast detonates against the other side of the mountain. She crashes down in front of him. He kneels asking, "Tianhu, are you alright, girl?" But she's not. Her back is charred, bleeding. An 8-level difference is too much. He starts thinking this mission is suicide. But the fierce one whispers, "Master, I'll keep going." He protests, "No, Tianhu, you'll only get beaten." She takes flight anyway, insisting she understands how important this is to him. She can't give up. If they tried to run, this monster would just hunt them down. The little ant agrees with Tianhu, saying that whatever their master wishes is also their duty. Then both surge forward again, telling him not to worry. The mission will be completed. Lin Han is stunned. For once, it seems they actually care about him. Watching them fight, he starts searching for a plan to stop them from getting hurt, a way to break through the monster's defenses. Head-on attacks aren't working. They need to think differently. Then he notices something. One of the ants' strikes left an opening in the creature. He calls out, telling them both to focus all attacks on that same point to see if they can pierce inside through it. They agree instantly. The ant leaps onto its neck, hammering blows. The beast thrashes its massive head, fleeing her away. But in the middle of the shake, it takes a thunderbolt to the back of the skull. An explosion erupts, magma blasting upward. The two think maybe they've won, but no, the beast is still standing. Finally, a real fight. The protagonist smirks. "Looks like I'll have to step in. The girl's attacks aren't cutting it, so now it's my turn." He launches forward with his wings, copying Tianhu's lightning ability and combining it with the ant's punch. Together, it's devastating. He slams the strike with wing-driven speed, the lightning crackling along his fist, driving straight into the wound. His arm transmits the electricity inside the creature. He snarls that this bastard is about to be turned into charcoal. He keeps pressing while the system urges him to awaken and finish the beast. Then suddenly, it looks like he ends it. A radiant glow surrounds the two girls, and they thank him, calling it incredible. The protagonist celebrates, saying it's finally over. But just as he rejoices, he collapses into the arms of his beautiful companions. They ask if he's alright. He says yes, it's just that their abilities drained too much out of him. At least now they can leave, since those trash from the Magic Association must already be dead. The mission is complete, and all he needs now is to change class. Finally, after farming non-stop without a single break, he gets to rest. The next morning, the mission is officially marked as finished, and he advances to Elite Tamer. He celebrates completing it, even though it was anything but easy. Most of his skills level up, while outside, everyone's holding their heads in disbelief, wondering if this isn't the same kid who just awakened recently. How had he already changed classes twice? It made no sense. The woman with perception says some people really have no idea how the world works. She started to get used to his absurd pace of leveling, while the protagonist himself is eager to see just how much stronger they've become. The aunt says she feels extremely energized and durable, since her protection skill has risen to 60%. Tianhu, now looking buffed up in her bird form, announces she feels like she's gained a new transformation. Seeing the stats both of them have, the protagonist is discouraged, muttering to himself how the hell of his pets are so much stronger than him. Just a single level of difference, and yet they seem to have 10 times his attributes. Still, it's fine, because they're his pets, their power represents his own in the end. But then he asks them, wait a second, shouldn't there be some kind of reward? What abilities did he unlock this time, and which one should he pick? Once again, the Auction of Fusion appears, the ability to merge with one of his beasts. There's also telepathy for communication and defensive perception, which allows him to hide perfectly when unseen by the enemy. The two immediately ask which ability he'll choose, both begging him to take Fusion. Becoming one with their master would be wonderful. Lin Han thinks about it. Fusion must be far stronger than simply activating a single ability. If he had chosen it earlier, he wouldn't have been humiliated by that master. So this time he decides to go with the simplest but most powerful choice and picks Fusion. Now he's excited to test it out. Right away, a new mission appears and everyone gathers to see it. And this is exactly the kind of mission we like, showing just how talented the author was feeling that day. Not only would he be able to tame a third creature, but he'd also earn 1,500 points. The ant, on the other hand, sighs, Master, you never stop recruiting these huge beasts, so don't you ever get tired? Why can't you be satisfied with me? He moves to comfort her, but it isn't him. Shandu steps in, assuring her that their master will keep recruiting new beasts, but he won't abandon any of them. She asks if that isn't true, and he, trembling all over, insists of course it is. His priority is to keep leveling up, since something important is coming soon. The two have no idea what he means, but the scene shifts to a few days after the academy entrance exam. On stage stands Saikam. The protagonist had almost forgotten about that lunatic. Saikam declares this is a great day for all students aspiring to be the very best in the school. The protagonist thinks to himself, I've been farming for 3 days straight, I almost forgot this event was even happening. Good thing I remembered, otherwise big sis. Yeah, I even forgot about her, would have broken me in half. Obviously, he's thinking about the big massive one. Suddenly, he hears voices inside his beast space, his storage dimension, where the two girls are shouting frantically. To avoid drawing attention, he's keeping them sealed in there. It was a hassle putting them inside that space, which works kind of like an item shop. At that moment, Saikam announces that all the universities who came to watch deserve a warm welcome. Now things are tricky. The protagonist has to guess which university he'll end up joining. Up front, there are two guys who don't look very important, though the one in the middle seems to be glowing a little, farming some aura. The protagonist notes that those two represent the strongest universities in the Empire. Chanjiao agrees, saying it's unusual for all of them to show up here. Something special must be happening this year. He asks if our boy doesn't want to join one of those top academies, but Lin Han says he's more curious about which school that other man represents, the soldier with the huge hat waving to the students. The headmaster announces that the man is the director of the military academy. Chanjiao immediately comments that if the guy runs the military, he definitely has more influence than the other schools. He bumps into Lin Han, pressing him to reveal his current level and which beasts he's contracted. Chanjiao himself has already reached level 15, starting to look like a real threat. The protagonist is about to say, not bad, you're leveling up, but then of course, who else but the only real villain in this story shows up. That blonde bastard sneers that trash like them will never enter Chanjiao. They're not strong enough and should stop dreaming now. The big guy fumes, telling the bastard to come at him if he's so tough. They'll settle it with an honest fight. He also shouts at Feng to hand over the 100,000 he bet and never paid. The blonde looks uneasy, remembering he lost that bet, but then points at Lin Han, telling him not to think they're rivals because he's far above him. The protagonist just stares back, saying it's a shame, but today he's going to disappoint him. Soon after, the exam begins, consisting of level tests and practical trials. Lin Han wonders aloud if the level test is just checking their levels. The instructor reassures them, don't panic everyone. This part won't decide your final grade. You'll still get a chance in the practical exam. And then he adds, obviously, you fools, the second exam is meant to test teamwork and compatibility. The top 3 teams will earn special items to help them evolve and gain priority in the selections. On top of that, universities can pick any student they like even if they scored poorly. Because, sometimes a good kid ends up stuck in a weak team. The exam officially kicks off and the crowd cheers. Right away, everyone lines up to place their hands on the sphere. The first unlucky ones leave groaning. Damn, I'm trash. Levels 11-10. Low results for those who barely evolved. Big Massive stands there thinking, I don't know what that boy has prepared, but he better be ready, because this will decide his future. She's seething, telling herself she doesn't care about him. He ruined her life anyway. That's when someone asks her, Miss Bai, you're not planning to protect anyone in this test, are you? Turns out it's Feng, taunting her, saying she always favors Lin Han, that loser doesn't deserve special treatment. Big snaps back, you idiot. Just take the test and get out of my sight. Filth. Maybe not exactly those words, but that's clearly what she's thinking. Feng smirks, relax, I'll humiliate Lin Han. Let me show you what it means to be chosen by the world. He slaps his hand on the sphere, gives it a squeeze, and the number 16 lights up. Everyone gasps, that's a late level. He struts away with his hand in his pocket, thinking he's glowing with power, not realizing he'll soon be starving. Butterfly Girl shows up nearby, clearly ready to outshine him. She approaches Lin Han, sneering, see, fool. I'm the big shot here. You better understand, you'll never catch up to me. Lin Han just laughs, replying that unfortunately, the guy's already part of the past. Butterfly Girl, Ling Chu, places her hand on the sphere, and it lights up with 17. The crowd is stunned. Things are starting to get way out of the ordinary. Students weren't supposed to level up this fast. Still, the big guy isn't doing so badly, right? If that super talented girl is sitting at 17 and he's at 15, give him some credit. Turns out eating Big Macs has its perks. Stakong is telling the others, listen up, this girl's the real deal. She's one of the most talented in the school. The guys are already whispering, Dan, maybe we should invite her to the university. Another replies, yeah, maybe. She really does look impressive. But then the soldier cuts in, sir, I heard you had a beast tamer named Lin Han. Where's the prodigy? I want to see him. And right on cue, he's announced. Everyone knows that's the bastard who broke the record in the illusion realm. The protagonist approaches while Feng keeps running his mouth. Shut up, Blondie. I won't even bother reading what you're saying anymore. Easy enough to guess. Meanwhile, Big Massive. Yeah, she needs a few lines at least so she stays on screen a little longer. Lin Han turns to her and says, hey, my hot mom, just relax. I'll make sure he embarrasses himself. I'm sick of this blonde punk. She blushes bright red. Shameless. She's enjoying it. The guy is talking about humiliating her student and she's already thinking, yes, Lin Han, humiliate him. So our boy places his hand on the sphere and gives it a slow rub, wondering how talented he really is. He even remarks that he feels a strange vibration and energy. Big says she's never seen anything like it. Suddenly, the giant orb cracks and shatters right in front of him. Burger Eater immediately wants to know what just happened. Big asks if he's alright and he calmly answers that he's fine. She's confused. Why did the tester break? That doesn't make sense. They examine it while Lin Han hides his face, wondering if this happened because his level is too high. From afar, Feng sneers that his ability is so pathetic the orb destroyed itself rather than reveal such a trash result. And for anyone missing Cao Cheng, which is absolutely no one, here comes another teacher determined to ruin Lin Han's life. The man claims Lin Han not only failed the test, but also destroyed their only tester. Shameless. Wait, is that actually Cao Cheng? Hold on, no, it's his twin brother, Cao Shang. The guy shows up with his red-dyed hair dripping with fake swagger. The protagonist thinks, the teacher said he'd been expelled, so why is this bastard still here? Does he have someone backing him? Big clears it up. That's Cao Shang, Cao Chong's twin brother. He's one of the supervisors for this exam. Obviously, he isn't going to be your fan and after what happened with his brother. Cao Xiang steps forward announcing, Director, this Lin Han broke the equipment. He ruined the test for everyone. I suggest he be disqualified. The protagonist finally loses his patience. He argues that none of it makes sense. Just because Xiang is angry over his brother doesn't mean he should be sabotaging his score. But Xiang ignores him completely, dismissing him as nothing more than worthless beast tamer trash. Among the universities, there's a woman Lin wishes the author would actually show. But instead, we're stuck looking at the fat guy in a tiny tie and another official, both nodding along. They argue that if the boy is just a tamer, why waste time? He ruined everything by breaking the device, so abandoning his test result would be fair. Suddenly, Saikong steps in front of Lin Han and says, Lin Han, these two represent top universities. I have to take their words into consideration. Instantly, Xiang and Feng celebrate. They finally managed to damage Lin Han's future. The protagonist asks if a person's strength shouldn't be judged by their combat power. The army officer agrees, sitting in the most uncomfortable, cross-legged pose you can imagine. He explains that the level test is just to measure effort. What truly matters is compatibility. He finds it ridiculous that the talent scouts here are focused on the wrong thing. Everyone respects the army man, so at first they're a little embarrassed, but then they admit he's right. It really does make sense. He turns a sharp look on the director, asking if they can continue as planned. Saikang thanks him for giving Lin Han a chance. Of course, it just means our boy now owes this guy a favor. Lin Han thinks the Academy's director Yi is actually pretty cool. Big comments, he's always been impartial. I can't believe he stepped in to help you, Lin Han. This is a wonderful opportunity. Go on, shine. Feng, however, still can't accept being humiliated. Every time he insists this opportunity won't change anything. Lin Han embarrassed himself now, and he'll keep embarrassing himself later. The protagonist fires back, "Kid, you think you're all that? Keep acting this way, and maybe I'll end up killing you in the middle of the fight." Throwing death threats in public, bold move. He turns away, declaring they'll meet on the battlefield. Secom announces the next test will begin, and not only that, it'll be broadcast live across the nation. Directors from other schools will be watching, so they better be ready. Burger King, Big Mac King leans over. "What do you say, protagonists? Want to team up? I'll carry you." Our boy agrees, since they need to form teams anyway, might as well. But then a timid girl in a short skirt steps forward. Lin Han, I'm Su Ting from Class 3. Could I join your team?" The big guy blurts out, "Damn man, being on your team, that's badass. Even the hot girls want to join us." The protagonist, though, doesn't want to gather too many people. After all, he already has 2 women sealed inside him. Why add more? So he tells her, "Sorry, Su Ting, but my team's full. Find another group. I'm sure there are better ones than ours." Cold rejection, and a bit harsh too. But the big guy shows some wisdom. "You idiot. What fun is monster hunting without a girl around? Besides, we need 3 people. They'll be way better with her." Su Ting doesn't give up. She shakes her head firmly. "No, there's no one as amazing as you, Lin Han. I know my only chance of winning is by being with you. Please, take me with you. I'm just a level 15 elite knight, but I swear, I won't hold you back." The protagonist is intrigued. At least she seems sincere, and most importantly, not the type to stab him in the back. Chanjiao teases, "So, bastard, you gonna take her? 'Cause I want a beauty in my team." Lin Han hesitates, but after more prodding, he finally agrees. Su Ting lights up with joy. Right away, he hands the team registration over to Big, who spots the name. Su Ting from Class 3. "Well, so you do want another woman, huh?" He waves his hands quickly. "No, not at all. It's just that her profession fits perfectly. She'll really balance out the team." Big sighs, saying she actually hoped he partnered with Lingshu. But Lingshu went and joined Feng's team. Lin Han fumes. "Seriously, Lingshu? Joining that clown villain? You filthy traitor." He strokes his hot mom's arm, reassuring her, "Don't worry, this won't decide the winner." She blushes, mumbling that it's fine as long as he doesn't embarrass them. After all, everyone knows she supports him. If he loses, she'll be dragged down with him. Also tell him to be careful, because this test can be dangerous and what the? Having the boy like that come here, Big Bing. Our kid's even blushing. Then the chubby guy in front of the portal says, "Hey kid, stop hitting on girls and let's go through this portal." Our boy takes a few long strides, thinking he really has a lot of people backing him. Today's part wouldn't let him hide his power anymore, so he wasn't going to hold back. The scene shifts to the Forbidden Desert, and someone announces that everything will be divided into bronze, silver, and gold classes. Obviously, the higher the zone level, the tougher the monsters. They also say the bracelet was issued by the school. Announcements and the people's rankings would show up there, not to mention the countless drones that would follow them. And they tell everyone to charge in. Right away, Fang is advancing alone while Ling Su looks starving. He celebrates, saying this isn't hard at all. 3 lizards rush toward the poor girl and she snaps her fingers, freezes everything. "Wow, you're cold, girl. What the?" They turned into stalactites and exploded from the inside. Outside, everyone's watching on the little screens, and Fang and Ling Su are at the top of the rankings. Everybody's impressed. The headmaster from another school already says it's no wonder everyone wanted to recruit the two. While the boy only wants one chance, Lin Han is down at the bottom 0. Giving that kid a shot didn't seem worth it. Ko Shang agrees, saying they're the only ones who didn't score a point. They're really going to embarrass the school. Meanwhile, Big is sure the boy must have some other plan. The scene then changes to a danger warning. The Tender Trio had wandered into a region they shouldn't. A drone flies by and warns them to be careful. They were entering a zone with creatures from level 10 to 20. Big Mac goes, "What's up, Lin Han? Bro, we're going into the silver zone, are you crazy?" The protagonist thinks the poor fools don't even know he's been farming the silver zones. But then a message pops up on his bracelet from Feng, telling him to stop embarrassing himself and get out of there. Our boy just thinks the guy is such a child. Everyone's pissed at the fool, saying there's no way they'll lose to him. When suddenly, a system message pops up for our guy saying he had to hunt 10 gold level beasts. The reward would be 1,000 beast points, which would definitely help him evolve his monstruba. Will he find a really healthy one in this region? That'd be nice, huh? The Big Mac King, however, is a bit scared, saying, "What's up, Lin Han? Do you think we can handle the silver beasts?" And Su Ting says, "Wow, the silver beasts move in packs. A bunch will come at once. Can we handle all that pressure, Lin Han?" But Lin Han says, "Guys, we're just going to pass through here and kill a few on the way. The goal is to get to the gold area." Of course, the two who were already scared are now shaking even more. Still, as they move along and chat, they're being watched by an 18-level hyena. Tianjuo says he's not afraid of getting hurt when suddenly Lin seems startled. He clenches his fist and lands a solid hit on the hyena beside him. 4 more come up behind our boy, who turns and dishes out 3 more solid hits to their faces. The little monsters all drop dead while the drones observe everything. Each one gave 450 points, and our boy asks if they're coming to the golden zone with him or not. What's that? 2 more cameramen. Those 2 who weren't doing anything, right? But at least they'd agree, saying there should be more points there. Outside, Big is starting to get worried. And then another hot mom with glasses, who looks a lot like Su Ting's mother, says, "You bitch, that student of yours, Lin Han, is taking my Su Ting into a dangerous area. If anything happens to her, I won't forgive him." Big goes, "I already told you, Miss Li, why don't you calm down?" The boy knows what he's doing. But right behind her, Xiang says, it's a shame this kid is going to die like that. Worse that he dragged his friends to the same fate." Big asks where his ethics are humiliating a student like that as a teacher. He answers that he's not humiliating him. He's worried about the friends who are being led to death. The university people agree, saying it's actually nice to see such a caring guy. Then suddenly, one of them changes expression, wanting to know why Lin's points suddenly went up out of nowhere. "I thought he stopped at the top of the ranking. No, he gained 450, right? For killing the first hyena." The military guy notices he seems to be starting to react, and the points keep rising. Right then, Big tells the guy in the corner, "Show the camera, I want to know what's happening." On the little screen, you can see the big ant tearing a wolf apart on the ground, while Tiandu summons a thunderstorm. Now Teacher Lin's all smitten, wanting to know if those are the boy's beasts. The university guys immediately look interested, and the one on the right says, "Well, the boy's beasts aren't that bad. Maybe that's the trump card that made him so confident." Xiang keeps saying that strength won't do him any good. Soon he'll die because he's advancing into the Silver District. A place like that wasn't something you could handle with just ordinary beasts like those. But the beasts keep advancing, destroying every wolf in their path. Teacher Lin comments that the boys' beasts look like they're farm mobs. Wow, they were just walking and the points wouldn't stop going up. Xiang realizes that at this farming pace, they'll really be at the top soon. Big tells her to recognize her student's potential, like as if he was taking her to his doom. And now I'm thinking, do you see why he didn't accept the void beast she sent him? Oh, it was that one the butler arrived with by truck. Remember when our boy kicked the damn thing? The birds up high are raining thunder while our boy passes by with a punch that's like a cannon, opening a hole. The points keep rising while damn his friends really are just spectators. I don't care if they're weak, but come on, they could be trying something besides clapping, right? Our protagonists, they're like, "Let's go guys, we're going to keep going." Weak is a pretty strong word, huh? The friends start getting scared, asking if everyone really awakened together. The difference was way too big. He should have been at most 2nd level, but Lin says, "What's this 2nd level business?" Immediately, they're in disbelief, asking if he really means he's at 3rd. Tianjuo grabs his head and says, "Good heavens, how did you evolve so fast like that, kid?" The protagonist slaps him on the arm and says, "Take your fat hand off, relax. Besides, this silver zone isn't enough. Let's keep moving." Outside, Lai realizes they really were heading into the gold zone. Even Big is scared now, wondering if the boy can really handle it. Meanwhile, Xiang comes again with his usual talk, saying the boy thinks that killing some beasts in this area makes him invincible. Big inside feels insecure, but on the outside she's praising our boy, saying he should take note of how easily he's handling these silver beasts. Instead of being sarcastic, she should trust the students she has. Xiang's thinking, "You bastard Lin Han. If it weren't for you, my brother wouldn't have gone to jail. Today, I'm going to get rid of you no matter what." At the edge between the silver and bronze zones, Feng's there. "Our score is probably above everyone already, guys. Those poor fools don't stand a chance no matter what they do." Then he gets a message on his phone. It's Xiang telling him that Lin Han was already in 2nd place and was heading into the gold zone. Since he probably died there, he should hold the silver zone position and farm as many points as possible. Ling Xu's giving that kind of speech that brings disaster. We're already on top, so there's no reason to risk it. Let's stay here instead of throwing ourselves at a bunch of silver beasts and ending up surrounded. But of course, the idiot's already gone from in front of her. At the same time, a level 20 beast is coming. Fang used the location the guy sent and went to fetch it so they could farm more points. He knows that if they take down this demonic level 20 creature, they'll be number 1. The problem is the monster is charging all at once. He wonders how it's so fast. A block of ice starts to rise from the ground and slams into the beast's chest. The monkey, though, seems to begin to thaw while Ling Xu keeps summoning a bunch of stalactite shards, wondering why the idiot brought a creature of that level. Feng saying if she keeps cooperating with him, the Storm Swordmaster will get what she wanted. The poor girl, though, realizes this guy's screwing her over. She shouldn't have joined such a trash team. It's the first time I've seen a female lead be this stupid. Obviously, the monkey breaks the freeze she made and charges again. She launches more ice cones, but nothing seems to work. The monkey jumps, brings its hands together. She tries to defend, but she thinks the big ant will come save them. When she opens her eyes, half confused, who's arriving? Lin Han with his crew saying, "Hey everyone, how do you get here?" The monkey falls to the ground and starts getting torn apart while Tian who rains down thunder. Seconds later, the creature's dead on the ground. Lingxu can't understand how a level 20 monster was killed almost instantly, while the protagonist asks who gave them the guts to challenge a monster so far above their level. Feng just stands there, not even looking over. He doesn't want to look like a fool. Seeing that, our boy thinks if he'd known it was that guy, he shouldn't have acted. He could let him die. Feng, however, goes into the blood, plunges his hands in, grabs our boy by the collar, and asks who let him help. He clearly came over to steal the prey. He even puts his hand in the blood to deliberately stain his clothes. Lingxu tells him to stop being an idiot. If Lin hadn't saved him, they probably would have gotten beaten, yes. She slaps his hand away, telling her to stop brown-nosing him too. Clearly, that bastard was there to steal his points and mess with both their ranks. But she gets back with a slap right in the face. Take that slap. He asks if the bitch really dares hit him. She snaps back, asking why she wouldn't. Damn. She says she only agreed to help him because his family promised an exclusive level 20 piece of equipment. She thinks he doesn't even deserve to be cursed by her. Wow, humiliated, huh? That idiot Feng wants to speak up, but the protagonist already slipping away, saying their little show is entertaining, but he's got no time, so he's going back to his friends. Feng celebrates, saying the kid can be as arrogant as he likes. But the moment he steps into the golden area with that little present on his shirt, it'll be the end of the boy. Ah, the monkey's blood will probably attract another monkey, right? And right there at the entrance to the gold zone, our boy left the two of them, which he shouldn't have done, right? Those poor fools were going to get slaughtered. As soon as they see Lin, they grin, and the chubby guy cheers, "Hey kid, I thought I'd never get to eat a Big Mac again." He grabs his leg, all happy, when suddenly a level 28 nether wolf appears. Geez, the levels here are seriously high. So far I've been against the villains, but now I have to agree with the teacher who said he's taking everyone into a risky place. It's true, he threw a punch and the creature exploded into the tree, fine, but still, it's pretty dangerous. At least his mission is to kill 10 of those, so maybe it'll be okay. Sure enough, in the next second, the pack shows up in front of them. Lin Han, though, is celebrating. They killed so many monsters in the Silver Zone that the two of his beasts evolved like crazy. Sokka, the Big Ant, and Tianhu say it's time for them to level up again. Both move forward easily, wiping out most of the pack while the experience keeps rising. Ann and Thunder Gal are already at level 26. And hey, I'm kinda scared he might get a wolf pet that's a little furry, and then people will go nuts. That's weird. Seconds later, all the monsters are dead. He gains the 1,000 points plus a level up boost. He spends the 1,400 attribute points to raise all his strength, when suddenly the little ant runs over and throws herself onto his chest. She's stuck there, sort of licking the blood, saying it was delicious and she doesn't want to get off the master. The protagonist a bit confused while Tianhu tells the little ant to stop hugging him. Both of them are a little flushed and the friends find it kind of weird. Yeah, it wasn't the sort of beast taming they expected. Then the protagonist tosses 2 nether wolves at his friend's feet and says that since they came with him, they can kill those to earn a few points. The two, however, are more interested in the experience. Tianjuo decides to check their rank, and of course they're in first with 7,200. Wait, isn't that kind of low? I thought it would be like 20,000 against those 4,000. Still, they know this must be catching everyone's attention out there. And obviously now the guys are starting to compete over who's going to have Lin Han. The chubby guy says, "I'm taking this kid Lin Han." Meanwhile, the bangs guy says, "Stop being an idiot, fatso. You don't have any beast hammers. He'll absolutely be better off at our university." They're arguing back and forth while Saikong is stunned, wondering if this kid really is one of their students. Normally, a prodigy like this would only show up in elite schools. Even Big Big is impressed that her boy is actually this promising. Damn, the university guys are thinking of starting a fight over who gets Lin Han. But then someone tells them to stop now if they don't want to get beaten up. It's Yi from the military warning them they're forgetting the most important thing of all. The guys are already thinking, oh snap, the director wants Lin Han. We're screwed. No matter how fierce our schools are, you can't compete with the military academy. But the guy's actually decent and says the most important thing is which academy Lin Han wants to join. He gets to choose. So you better shut up and wait for his decision after he finishes the test. The two fools just agree there. Meanwhile, the director, strangely emotional and even tearing up, says he never expected to be admired by the military people one day. Big Big's just thinking how amazing he is, while Kalak Shang can't understand it. How did that damn Lin Han get so strong? As far as he knew, the kid used to be trash. For him, the best option was for Feng Yang to find that kid and kill him. Right at that moment, inside the test, Feng has just discovered the protagonist is at the top of the rankings. Obviously, he can't accept that and wants to kill the kid. He says, "Hey Lingshu, you idiot. Let's hurry and get first place." Lin Han passed. She just laughs, saying he dreams too big. Someone like him thinking he can get first. Feng points at her and asks what she means by that. Doesn't she still want to win the weapon? The level 20 prize? But she replies she has no strength left to fight. If he's so set on being number 1, he can do it alone because she won't be able to help at all. Clearly, Feng can't handle it alone, so he tells her to screw off, thinking he'll let Lin Han shine for now, but soon his crew will be crushed too. A little while later, the test ends and people are coming out of the portal. One of the first teams to appear is Feng and Lingsu's, who finished second. The director praises them, saying they work really hard, especially Lingsu, who's very skilled and killed numerous powerful enemies. Feng Yang also put on an impressive performance, an impatient kid who accidentally provoked a demon and almost got into trouble and died, but still a good boy. The idiot gets roasted in the middle of the praise. Su King says schools will definitely be interested in them. But where's Lin? At that moment, Feng thinks, I poured that blood on that idiot's chest back then. Surely when he stepped into the gold zone, he must have been surrounded and killed. Then someone shouts that Lin Han has arrived. Our boy and his two companions step out of the portal, currently ranked first. The blonde guy finds it completely impossible. You should know 1 + 1 = 2, right? When you left, you were ranked second, so clearly one of you had to still be alive. It had to be him. Now the guys are bumping into Feng like, get out of the way, idiot. They swarm our boy. Damn, Lin, you're the real deal. We got scholarships for you. Come to our academy. There are lots of girls. You'll love it. Lin's thinking, geez, these guys are enthusiastic. They keep shouting, desperate, saying X Academy is the best, no Y Academy is better. The protagonist starts to notice how oddly desperate everyone is. Then the military academy rep tells the two to shut up and let Lin choose. He also wants a word with him first and asks, Mr. Lin Han, what level is the boy? If I'm not mistaken, you must have at least reached the 3rd level. Everyone's like, oh my god. But of course, the kid was killing level 28 monsters. He couldn't have done that if he were stuck at 20. With that, the military academy people who were already interested get even more so. Big says, why didn't you tell me he was in the 3rd tier? I wouldn't have been nervous at all. She answers, if I told them, who would believe me? But inside she's thinking, you bastard, why didn't you tell me? Feng can't believe it. Why was that damn kid always ahead of him? In theory, he'd always been this school's #1 genius. He then accuses the kid of cheating. Everybody awakened a few days ago. It's impossible he's at 3rd level. But the protagonist and the military guy both say at the same time, Christ, I forgot about you. They notice they said the same thing, and the military man tells our boy to step aside. There's more of a vibe between those two right now than between the protagonist and the girls in this story. He remembers that Feng had doubted him and that the military guy had been the one to protect him. So since that's how it is, he isn't going to hide it. And he shows the blonde guy, here you go, idiot. Level 27, elite beast tamer. He adds, and do you think I don't know you smeared that monkey blood on my chest to attract beasts? In the end, you only helped because I killed those creatures even faster. Feng, embarrassed, just answers that he has no idea what he's talking about. None of it makes sense. Then Taman Ho introduces himself. Big says, hey kid, there's no point denying it. Our cameras recorded everything, and you can clearly see you did it on purpose. Strangely though, Feng has a little grin on his face. I found that suspicious, and Lin obviously notices something's off. Feng says, Examiner Ko, why don't you show the monitor so we can check the cameras? I thought it was going to be some 4th dimension plot twist where they'd suddenly awakened, but no. Kao just broke the camera and said there's no footage available. Big snatches the monitor from his hand, saying she'll get the information anyway. Kao just thinks she's an idiot, as if he would leave evidence that Feng did something. Then someone tells everyone to calm down. If the problem is the surveillance cameras, he has them all recorded. It's the military guy saying he obviously needs to understand everyone's performance. That's why they planted cameras in advance to guarantee they'd see everything. He starts the projection, warning it might not serve as legal evidence, but you can clearly see Feng go to the monkey blood, pick it up off the ground, then grab the protagonist by the collar. He explains it's common knowledge that the blood of those demonic monkeys acts like a kind of hypnotic bait to attract other beasts. Feng should be grateful the person he tried to hurt wasn't one of his soldiers, because if that had happened, his family would suffer worse than death. Shikong shows up and asks, Feng Yang, did you really do something like this and stain our school's reputation? You must be eager to get expelled. But Lin Han, never one to let anyone walk away unscathed, says that dumbass Feng Yang is just a pawn. Some dumb kid like that blonde wouldn't know the effects of a hypnotic monkey. That's why Lin's sure the one behind all this is Cao Xiang. The guy's been trying to disqualify him from the start, and the broken camera was right in his hands. Cao Xiang, all twisted, says, I didn't do anything, kid. I'm just an examiner. Oh please, funny little boy. I never do something like that. And that kid Feng Yang, what a disgusting brat. I'd be ashamed to be associated with him. Of course Feng Yang isn't going to let Cao get off. He says, you bastard, don't ditch me here. I only wanted the monkey points. You were the one who sent the message telling someone to smear some of the blood on Mr. Lin Han's shirt. Immediately, Cao Xiang loses his temper and boots him in the chin, telling him to shut up. As if he would have said anything like that. The phone goes rolling out of his pocket. Big snatches it up, and geez, he's the only kid his age who doesn't have everything blocked. Aren't you afraid of what sites you visit, kid? And of course, the moment she sees the messages, she says it's confirmed. Cao Xiang had warned Feng about everything. The bastard tries to charge forward, claiming it's all false accusations and demanding she give him the phone back. But the director says he really is trash like his brother and flips him onto the ground by the back of the neck. He steps in. So if you were using your influence to affect the tests the military group came to observe, you deserve a punishment worse than you can imagine. Right away, the reps from the other universities shout that there's no way they'll accept this Feng. A kid who'd stoop to corruption like that isn't worth having around. Hearing all that, the fool knows his future is over. The protagonist realizes everything became obvious when the little ant threw herself on the blood. That's when he put the pieces together. He just didn't expect manager Yi to have discovered it so early, enough to have recorded it. Really, joining the military academy would be a good move. Here comes the military rep with that vibe, and of course they step up to offer him the spot. Hey kid, you're extremely skilled. If you want to enlist with the military, talk to us and join our ranks. The protagonist thinking, geez, should I join these top dogs? Meanwhile, the other university reps are begging in the background, BTN Academy's better, come to ours. The guys are fighting over our boy, and the director's wondering how long it's been since he saw 3 people brawling over the same student. This kid really was number 1 here and they had to back him. A little later, they're back on stage. The ceremony's over and it's time to hand out prizes. 3rd place, the pink-haired group and 2 no-name guys. 2nd place, Ling Shu, a complete idiot, and Feng, who barely managed. And 1st place, the protagonist and his 2 idiots standing beside him. Based on his performance, he's getting a villa right in the middle of town, wow, plus an advanced skill book for the Celestial Fist. Also a gold level necklace that boosts attributes by 20% for 3 minutes and can be used 3 times. Our humble boy thanks the never-ending support from the school and the whole town, promising he'll do everything he can to protect them until the end of time. The rascal's happy because now that he's won a big house, he can sleep cuddled up with the 2 of them every day. Dan, you're massive. The teacher celebrates and says that soon Big will show him the boy's house. With that, they arrive at the abandoned city and our boy is, sitting on the back bench. There are 3 seats, so why are you slumped up against the side like that? Big wants to know which academy he's going to join. Obviously, if he wanted a peaceful, stable path, Hingbei would be the best choice. But it's undeniable the military group is the best place to train people. If he has even bigger goals in the future, that might be the path to take. Lin thinks that if he needed more resources, Kingbei might be the best option because they tend to give students a lot. But he already has Yi and Tianu. With those 2, there isn't much he still needs. Actually, what matters is getting more tamer points and farming more rare creatures. For that reason, he's certain the military is the best choice. Big says she expected as much and tells him if he needs anything to just come to her. The protagonist thinks that even though the Bai family is influential, it's not like they could help him with the military. But it's fine. He has the 2 girls' help and knows he can count on them anytime. The guy turns the wheel, yells a maneuver, and our boy is thrown to the side and falls onto someone's thighs. What, the kid? Big flops her chest onto the boy's head and says, Kid, you must need another beast, right? Big sis here will help you get one. I know where there are some really good fire attribute creatures. How about something nice and hot? The protagonist is all red while she talks about the forest near the city of Shenki, known as the Forest of Flames. There's a platinum level firebird there that might be perfect for the level he's at. Also, it'd be good to have 1 more creature before heading to the academy. He's thinking about that firebird, but he's distracted by the mountains looming over the poor kid. She says it's also a dungeon that would let him reach the requirement for the 4th level. She asks if he's into it and he says he's good. Oh man, he stands up blushing and she knows exactly what he did. She says, alright, enough fun. It's time to go to the fire forest. And we're already there? Or are we going home first? Seriously, this kid doesn't stop for a second. As they walk, she hopes the info's right since they said the monster was around here. At that moment, some big cats appear, more like fire lions than tigers. The protagonist says he'll go in, but Big says, Kid, if you're scared, just hang back behind the strong one. The monsters charge, she reaches out, activates an ice spell, and pins them down, stabbing through them. The brute's impressed. Big is using the element that's worst against fire and still winning easily. She's even leaving them a hit away from death so he can finish them off. He asks, Sister Big, what's your true potential, girl? She says she'll show him later. First, they have to farm. The wild thing is getting that famous farming assist from the hot mom while using 2 female pets to hunt. This guy's living the easy life. He easily finishes the monsters and hits levels 28, 29, and 30. After that, the tiger gives 0 experience and he gets stuck again. A little later, she asks if that's it and he says yes. He's reached the limit. Big doesn't stop helping the boy. She grabs his little hand and says they have to move on, that the next monster is right there. Looks like another bird up in that tree. She cheers that the info was right. Lin says he can't lose a second, crouches, activates his wings, and charges the little bird. He's eager to show off in front of Big Sis. Mid-air, he summons the little ant, hurling her straight at the bird, which, damned, doesn't even react. It just takes it to the face. The monster slams into the ground and explodes, and Lin Han immediately makes the contract. Damn, that was easy. Huh. The beast is level 35. This little ant is really stronger than normal. He realizes something's wrong. She's a higher level than the other 2, but her stats are much lower. He'll probably have to use that skill, the ancestral atavism, to awaken her true potential. Bing says, well, my work here is done. I think you can handle yourself. Big Sis is leaving Wuxia for a few days, so it'll be a while before we meet again. I hope you don't stop getting stronger while I'm gone, kid. When you're ready, come find me and surprise me. Huh, what is that? She guns the car and leaves, dumping our girl in the forest. Give her a crown to get back, daughter. He doesn't even care when there's another fierce one to awaken. He throws her forward, activates the atavism, and by some divine miracle, she's the group's first blonde. Finally, one with white hair, she reverts to her ancestral form. I think she's the most well-behaved girl in this story so far. But why does she have 45,000 strength and 78,000 agility? There's something wrong with those stats. Plus, she has an ability that affects the ground across a 1 kilometer area. She's clinging to our boy, asking for a hug while he says ancestral power really is something else. Back at class change time, of course, she's another 5-star. He says he's getting used to it. Looks like this will be the norm from now on. The fools outside are wondering who's up next, and look who shows up. Our boy walks by surrounded by beauties while the idiots stand there with their mouths open. It's time to go to the bitter swamp to finish this mission. When they get there, he sees there aren't many monsters and it doesn't look that dangerous. The ones that live in the water don't seem that big either. The moment the first one attacks, he summons Xiaojin and says he'll let her handle it. She looks like a mobile game doll with weird lines, right? She appears saying she'll satisfy him. She blasts a burst of flame and fries the poor eels. Apparently his mission is to kill some turtles and he says he can't find any. She floats and says they're in that direction, so they head deeper into the swamp. In another part of the swamp, they find a whole crowd of turtles and our boy says he's freaked out because he has trypophobia. Luckily, they found them all at once. Makes it easy to handle. To keep the other fierce ones from being alone, he tells them to advance while the odd one stays close and does whatever she does. He tells the little one to stick by his side while the other two also get a bit of XP. The little ant charges with a punch, the turtle calls down thunder, and he sips his juice and collects the experience. Of course, that's too easy even for him. A geyser of water shoots up and the Swamp Turtle King, level 49, appears. The creature uses a secret skill called 15 pixels. Suddenly, our boy is all pixelated. What happened? He's desperate. Somebody render this kid. Lin knows anyone else would run from a level 49 creature, but he's not alone. He's got the system, attribute points, and the 3 fierce girls beside him. He sends the little one flying, activates his wings, calls the ant and the thunder gal, and Yi lands the first punch dead on. Thunder strikes from above, and in the same instant the other hits. They even summon the little boss, poor thing, he's just getting pummeled. The little guy showed up to reduce the pixelation and already got singed. The protagonist is impressed he was still moving after taking a full power combo from both of them. But then another beast rises from the water, devours him, and causes our boy to fail the mission. At least the mission updates from defeat the Turtle King to defeat the water python, and now it'll give 2,000 points instead. Our boy decides it's time to test it out and activates the fusion. Dan, he's going to merge the little ant, Tian, who the thunder one, and the hot one. I'm even a little scared of what's going to come out. Oh no, what the? A fierce armor appears. I thought something mega powerful and crazy would show up, like a Megazord. Artist, why you do this to me out of nowhere, Megazord? Ah, okay, now it makes sense. Everything fused into him, so it became armor. Thank goodness the protagonist didn't turn into a hottie. That would have been peculiar. And the boy's stats are insane now, with 91,000 strength. The python doesn't seem to be reacting, and suddenly another one emerges behind him. The pets can still communicate and tell him to be careful because more are spawning. Suddenly, Free show up and he turns, activating the Phoenix Fire, throwing explosions everywhere. The good part is killing everything. The bad part is he's stuck and not gaining anything from it. At least with the small things handled, now it's just the boss. He flies toward it, activates both wings, lands Yi's punch square on the snake's neck. Good heavens, brutality, it tore right through. The pets are all celebrating, but he notices something still alive over there. The 3 beasts have merged, a snake head, turtle shell, another snake's tail, a chimera turtle type. The creature even has a special name, Xuanwu, and an alarm's going off somewhere. An unknown, ferocious beast appeared in the swamp. Looks like he's greeting them by eating again, poor thing. Why is our boy's butt exposed in that armor? Designer, what is this, dude? It protected everything except the kid's butt. Why that access, kid? His pets warn him that the monster in front is a kind of mimic copying other types. They tell him to be careful, but he suddenly gets attacked and has to defend himself. The protagonist is pushed back because that bitch has no martial ethic and attacked sneakily. But it's okay. He's confident and has way more attributes than any monster at this level. He advances again, trading blows honestly, hitting one of the snake heads, an explosion in the middle of the lake, and of course the monster is defeated. The system congratulates him, and as a reward, he receives a black turtle shield, an item that reduces critical damage by 50%. Right away, the 3 giants come out of it. Now we know where that exposed butt came from. It's explained. The only downside is Lin is exhausted from all that energy use, and the 3 come to help him. Geez, rough life. They tell him never to do that fusion again because it's too dangerous. He's worn out. At least with this, he's already in the mission hall, finishing the class change. Since his class is tamer, he always receives skills that help him survive, letting the beasts fight for him. This time he gets invisibility for 2 minutes and teleport up to 10 meters. As always, there are system-granted skills too. Now, the top one became a shared vision skill with the beast for 1 hour, plus telepathy to communicate and a perception shield so enemies can't notice his presence. Dan, he took the perception shield. I think I'd pick the shared vision instead, maybe the really telepathy. What for? The beasts are already always with him. The skill is successfully implanted, and now that I look, his stats outside of the fusion are low. The kid's still starving, only 6,800 strength. He's been hoarding skill books, and now it's time to join the military academy. The moment's come, they teleport over. For now, he's only keeping a little ant on his shoulder since the others draw too much attention. As soon as he arrives, the chubby guy's already there. Bro, let's go eat some Big Macs. Our kid, hey, what's up? "Squad, what are you all doing?" The chubby guy goes, "Oh, you came to this academy? We came to follow you." Su-Ting says the same. From now on, she'll follow the boy. Chanzhou clings to him, saying there's no way he'll let him go alone. From now on, they'll always be together. Later at the hotel, Lin's already regretting it. That damn chubby guy snores way too loud. Then the pets say that he got a solution. I thought they'd cover his ears with their bodies or something, but no. They create a barrier around him, like an isolated little space, while the phoenix clings to our boy, declaring the master belongs to her. The others grab the clingy one and tell her to calm down. She showed up last, after all. An honest scuffle starts, and our guy hugs them all, telling them to chill out. He's got everyone's back. They can take